Thank you for joining us on another episode on the Velasquez Show. Today's episode is dedicated to all the veterans in celebration of Veterans Day. I also would like to thank my special guests today that are also veterans and served in the United States Marine Corps. They will share their stories and knowledge that it might help many veterans that are watching this episode. Thank you so much for your time. Also, I will post a link below of how you can reach out to these veterans if you guys have any questions regarding anything linked to the military before, during, and after. Thank you for your time and enjoy this episode. Take care. Welcome everyone to another episode on the Velasquez Show. My name is Jeffrey Velasquez. Today we have a special podcast. We got a special episode to celebrate Veterans Day. With me, I have very special guests that have served our country, and I would like every single one of them to introduce themselves, and they are gonna give us a brief detail about what they've done to serve our country and how it has affected them in their life as well. So I want to welcome everybody that has here, and I want to thank you guys for being here, for coming. I know coming all the way here has taken away time from your family, and it has taken energy from other things that you probably could be doing. So it means a lot to me, and thank you for the support for showing up. Thank you. Okay, guys. Well, introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Davey Perez.
Okay.
I was a Marine. I did 5 years.
Happy Veterans Day, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
I was avionics, and I got out sergeant.
Okay. Let me. Okay, and how do you celebrate Veterans Day?
Well, I try to get together with my fellow veterans, and usually in the mornings we go do a ceremony in the park, or whatever they put on for the public, and then later on in the day we get together and celebrate together.
Okay. All right. Don't worry. This is gonna be a very interesting podcast. I will probably ask you more questions. I want everybody to introduce themselves first.
Sounds good. My name is Cali Serrano. I was also a Marine. Actually, Davey and I served in the same squadron, the same unit.
Yuma.
Yuma, Arizona. The sun never stops shining and it never stops getting hot. But I did 7 years. That's a little after I extended for a deployment and then a surgery. So, yeah, good times.
Well, what kind of surgery was it?
It was for my shoulder.
For your shoulder.
Yeah.
And how's that affecting you now?
I mean, it's just now I can't raise my left hand a lot higher than the other one, but it's not bad. And I know when it's gonna rain because it hurts.
Mama.
It starts aching. So I can be a good weatherman too. So.
Oh yeah. Especially here in Texas, right?
Mhm.
Shit.
That's right. I don't need the channel to let me know if it's gonna rain or not.
Yeah, you don't need the weather girl
Yeah.
telling us when it's gonna rain.
Yeah, I can do a better job.
Shit. Okay. Your brother also served, right?
Yeah, but he was stationed on the opposite side. He was in the East Coast.
East Coast.
Mhm.
I wish he would have made it, man. I know he's with his family and stuff. So
Yeah, I'll make sure he makes it next time.
next time for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The best for last. What we
Best
got?
for
What do we
last.
get?
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, let me correct Kelly in one of the things he said.
Okay.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. So
Mhm.
my name is Alejandro, Marine veteran. I was a heavy equipment operator, support company, 7th ESB. If you want to go, I can go more
Okay, can
details.
you go specific on what you did, because I know that's
Heavy equipment operating.
forklift. Was it
Yeah,
like crane? Was
forklifts,
it what?
the trams, the skyscrapers, skyscraper,
The cranes,
the
you
sky
mean?
lifts, the T-Rexes and all that.
Okay.
Anything that's earth moving stuff, from the scrapers to dozers, all that stuff.
Oh wow.
So we just learned the basics, the basic maintenance of all these vehicles. Had 8 different licenses that don't count for nothing at all. or at least it didn't count for me when I got out in 2007. So I guess that's one of the things that has changed now. That there's, I forget what it was that was passed, what bill was passed, but there's certain MOSs that you can get a certificate for now, that will carry on to be able to get credit, not just for the MCIs that you do, but also
Your licenses, because you
something
get like
relevant to your
licenses
job.
too, right? For everything you
Right.
you handle.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I mean, like in my experience, 8 licenses, you get out and you're confident that you're going to be able to just get a civilian job doing something relevant, and that was not the case. So, then I come to find out that I have to, even though I have all these experience, I had all this experience in this equipment, I would still have to train somewhere else, and in the schools for this job, it's usually not near you. So that was a big challenge, and I ended up doing other things, but I think the GI Bill has gotten better, because when I started using it, we used the Montgomery GI Bill, but I was kind of like, I was able to transition to the new 911 GI Bill, and that was a huge change.
When did you join in?
2003 to 2007.
Okay.
So honorable discharge. So that's why it was converting to the post 9/11,
Yeah.
and I was able to extend another year. So this is one thing. If there's some cats out there that are still using the Montgomery GI Bill, just know that you can deplete all that, and once you have a semester left, or maybe
Not even a semester.
a month or
Yeah,
something.
just something there. Yeah.
Right. You can convert. You can call the number, and then you can convert it, and then you get a whole year with post 9/11.
Holy shit.
Which I didn't even know. I almost lost that, and I talked to a VA.
You talked to them
advisor.
right on time too, because imagine if you would have used the whole thing.
I would have. I would have used the whole thing, and then I had to find that out through myself, because that's what, like, more than $12,000 a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, if you're going full time and you were active duty, but yeah, and there's all those little things that you find out, that are that hopefully this helps, and
You guys did the same MOS, correct?
No, we were in the same squadron.
We're
Same
just the
squadron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Different shops.
Oh. Go ahead.
So I was avionics.
Avionics is different from AV
Well,
mechanic.
I was support equipment.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Why I always thought that you were a aviation mechanic?
I was. Well,
He
I
was
was with an aviation.
Okay.
Well, yeah, our units are like the heavy machinery that supports. We deal with the what do you
The
call
support
it?
equipment.
Support equipment, like
The,
a bunch of like the I'm
the tow trucks.
tow track.
the
Yeah.
NC-10.
Do I need to take this one?
Yeah, right. Frick. Yeah, I'm ready. Hydraulic, like the
Shit.
hydraulic stuff. All that stuff to help support. Kind of fix the aircrafts and
Yeah,
stuff.
for the operation.
So we were in the same unit, but yeah, and now here we are.
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of lube to me.
Huh? Loop to loop. Yeah.
So one of the things about us Marines is that we always use, when we're together, of course, we still have to keep our professionalism around others, right? But we like to joke a lot,
We
you
like
know.
to bust each other's balls.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that about the culture, the military culture, right?
Oh,
So I think that's one of the things that I learned. I don't want to say the hard way, but in an interesting way once I got out of the military.
learned
Like
the hard way.
the way we talk, right? Not everybody
Mhm.
talks the same way, because we kind of want to get to the point, but some people you have to go around the bush to like not hurt
Yeah.
people's feelings and stuff. So I think that's one of the interesting experiences that I encountered once I got out of the military. Let me ask you guys a question. Well, first of all, once again, thank you for your service. Happy Veterans Day, and happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that are still living. And I hope they're making the best out of what they've done for the country, and I hope the country appreciates what they've done for it as well. What was one of the biggest challenges you guys had in the military? Everybody has challenges, whether it's language barrier challenges, whether it's adapting challenges, whether it's MOS, I don't know if I can do these challenges. Everybody has some kind of challenge, whether it was qualifying for the rifle, qualifying for swimming, qualifying for something. Somebody always has a challenge. I would like to know at least one challenge that you guys encounter while you guys were in boot camp, or at least in the service?
So mine in general is I suck at running.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie about that. But here's the thing: like, out of all the branches I could pick, and I knew this going in into the military. It's like, yeah, running's gonna suck, and I picked the branch that runs the most, right? So like, even when I was a poolee, I was like struggling to make the 1.5 mile run.
10:30, the 10-minute, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so man, I really had to like on my spare time after boot camp, like running every day, like once I got to the unit, just so that I can keep up. You know, I didn't want to be that shit bag that's like always at the back of the
You weren't the
formation.
one that was running the 28 minute 3 mile.
Hey, so 26 was my worst run, and 21 was my best. So
It's actually not too bad.
that's yeah. I worked my way to the 21. Actually, my last PFT I ever did was a 21, but that's probably the hardest thing because man, like first week of boot camp when we had to run from the barracks to where we had to do PT and I'm already falling back. Yo, that shit sucked. I don't know how many times I IT'd for that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my hardest part of when I was in was just the running. But like I said, you just got to work on it, and it got easier, and to the point to like when we do like remember when we had to do promotions.
How did you do the boot camp, if you don't mind me asking? Like you're running, how did you deal with it? Because it seems like it's always been a struggle. So
They just made me run a lot.
no. I know it probably IT the shit out of you, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like,
think
but the question was like, how did you do on your running in boot camp? Like, did you do fairly decent compared to what you did after boot camp?
Yeah, so when I started boot camp, I think we had to do a few PFTs, right? So we did. I mean, the longest one I had was the first one we did in boot camp was the 26.
Okay.
My last one in boot camp while I was still in boot camp was a 24.
Okay.
So it
All
went
right.
down by about 2 minutes.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
after you get out of boot camp, how was your time from there? Like from
Yeah,
what?
I just slowly like started dropping. So like I said, my very last one was a 21.
Holy shit.
So it was like a big
Wow. Yeah.
Gap.
That's a big improvement,
yeah.
man.
So, but
Wow.
Were you in the Breakfast Club?
no, I was not in a breakfast club.
When you mean breakfast club, you mean what's it called?
BRC.
BRC?
Yeah, okay, BRC. Yes.
No, I was not.
Okay.
I will be now though.
It sounded cool because, like,
Yeah.
when I heard that for the first time, and then
I
realized-
can't hear you, bro. Come on, man.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I know I said casual, but goddamn.
All right. No, I turn it.
Yeah,
to
I
this
know,
side
man.
And then, forget the mic.
If it's
good mic.
easier, just grab the mic because I think that at least you just put it back, and then when you talk, you know you're gonna have control of the mic. I don't know.
That's true.
So
Yeah. So that's the first thing when I heard that the Breakfast Club. Like I was like, ooh, I love breakfast. What is this about? And then come to find out that you are basically you have these
what's it? It's the half rations, right?
They have
It was
rations
half
for you.
half
Yeah,
portions.
Right. Exactly.
It was what was it called? It wasn't called that. It was called fat.
It's called double
The-
rat.
No,
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 double
double
rat
rat
is
is
the
for
opposite.
extra. That's what I had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's half rats.
Oh,
That's
you-
the shit I had.
Yeah, that's what I
Half
wanted, but I
rations.
couldn't because you
I
get
was 1
more.
pound over in boot camp.
No.
The limit to be double ration.
You were close,
I went
man.
in, I think it was 130 pounds is what I weighed. 131. I think you needed to be like 129.
I mean, I was 107, dude, when I went in
Fuck.
there. Dude, yeah. Okay, so tell me about your challenge.
About my challenge, well, I got injured. I think the first time I noticed was at doing the Reaper, in the Crucible,
Ooh.
the final
Holy shit.
obstacle. I guess the final week.
So was it was it on the way up or was it on the
It
way
was
down?
on the way up because I came back because one of the smallest guys, they had to carry the same weight you do,
Yeah.
and I went back to try to help him out too. And you're getting your ass chewed out too while you do
Yeah.
that, because you're not supposed to. But I felt bad for this little kid because he was really trying to push himself, and I do admire that with people. That no matter your size, no matter what your handicap or whatever, if you try,
Yeah.
I think that means a lot to me. So after that, I sucked it up, and I had this pain in my back. And the Marine Corps motto is like, pain is weakness leaving the body. That's one of the mottos, But sometimes it's not. Sometimes pain
Embrace
is,
the suck.
so, right. But sometimes pain is your body telling you, "Hey, there's something wrong. Go get it fixed." So after I sucked it up for a year, it never went away.
That's what they
Um,
want you to do, bro.
I know,
Yeah,
but we know
I
when
know.
you're right after boot
When
camp,
you're
you're
there, like, oh, I don't want to be a pussy, so I'm not
yeah,
gonna bitch.
exactly.
Yeah.
But plus, yeah, you know that you're gonna have it worse if you do act like that. So at least in my time when I was in the old corps,
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. The all core. Okay, okay, Grandma.
We
The
would
Grand
do
Old
it.
Man of the Marine Corps here.
That's right.
so but living with back pain, I was after a year I did get an MRI, and then they told me that I had a herniated discs
Shit.
and all that, so that was never gonna get any better. It was just gonna get worse, and that was the biggest conflict because I was always good at doing pull-ups, believe it or not. That was decades ago. um, and even though I was sometimes on limited duty or whatnot, and then I would come off of limited duty because you could only do that for so long.
Hold on. What happened when you got injured in the Reaper? Like, what did they do? Did they send you back? Did you graduate with the same platoon?
Oh no, I never. I just kept going.
Oh, okay,
I kept going.
okay. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's just that when I first noticed, but yeah, thank you because I didn't give too many details, but
yeah.
that's when I first felt something on my lower back.
Okay, so when you felt it, you felt the pain, but you were
I
still
still
able
kept
to
going.
graduate. You didn't see medical. They didn't set you back a few,
I didn't care about that because like
how do you call it, classes, or you call it cycles? What the fuck? Cycles, right?
Cycles.
Okay, Jesus Christ. Okay,
yeah,
you don't
so,
want to do that.
No.
then there was a lot of biking, a lot of once you get after MOS school, the fleet, it was a lot of medication and back pain killers and all that. And then I realized that I was probably harming other organs, and the pain was still gonna be there.
Okay.
Like epidural shots and all that. So, but
And this is at a PFC private level,
this
at a
was,
private.
yeah, this was
Holy
like my last
fuck,
first year.
dude.
And then at the end of my, at the end of the deployment, I went to see the doctor and I told him, I think I really have to do something about this because I don't think this is right for me to be taking this amount of medication that you guys have me on. But I was still thinking about re-enlisting and just moving to a different unit that was I guess they try to be hardcore, like, oh no, we're HE, we want to be like the grunts or whatever. I mean, that was
Everybody wants to be like the grunts.
right, exactly.
Even admin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right? And then I'm like, yeah, we do enough already, and we have a different job, but I think that was very difficult because all the explaining that to everybody when you're especially being support company because you're with different units, so you have different leaderships, and then sometimes you don't get enough time to really tell everybody your story. You show them your medical records, like, look, I can't go on this long run, or I can't carry this guy that's twice my weight
I get you,
because
man.
I have this. Sometimes that goes out the window.
And one of the things, a good thing you brought that up, because what happens when we go to different units, what happens is like, okay, Lance Corporal, he's only been 2 years. What could go wrong? What can be wrong with this guy? Everything should be perfect. He
Right.
shouldn't be bitching. He shouldn't be like, we hasn't done shit, what he got to bitch about, right? In your case, it wasn't like that, I can imagine like the pressure you must have at that rank, because everybody expects you to be at your highest health and condition possible, but they have no idea that you injure yourself, in the process, to graduate and to go through your training. I'm surprised you made it that far and you still had that pain with the medications and stuff. Did you ever had like, okay, I know this is something a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it's like whenever, like, you go through like all these medical conditions and you're taking all these meds and then you have to be on light duty like for a long time. Have you ever got shit on for being in that position?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I had to even request masks.
Oh,
That's
shit.
another topic too that nobody tells you because they don't want you to ever do it. They tell you it exists, but basically you're just requesting masks, as most of you probably know, is you're not getting whatever issue you're having. That immediate unit's not really taking care of it, so you just keep going up the chain. But what I didn't know is that when you request masks, they'll say, who do you want to request masks to? And I was like, what? What do you mean?
And you're
I'm
like, my sergeant.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Well, my sergeants are not listening. I was a corporal at the time.
Okay,
So I
okay,
was
okay,
like,
okay.
I talked to the sergeants. They weren't, it was like, it was an issue with the staff sergeant at the time. And it had to do because of that. He was a new staff sergeant. I'm still running and I'm running in front of him, but almost at the end. And his fat ass was, trying to tell me to get in the van because I was behind. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're still behind me. Anyways, just things like that. Just it was something personal that it was just messing up with everyone. And I don't know what his vendetta was against me or something or whatever he had against me. But then when I requested mask, I said, okay, well, I want to talk to the Birdman.
Yeah.
Take me to the colonel. Man, that gets results really quick.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
They'll hate you.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
hate you,
They'll
but
hate
it
me.
gets results.
So then from Camp Pendleton, I was in charge of, they sent me 6 months to Mojave Desert in charge of a grunt unit, which were the misfits of the grunts, These guys had been in 3 tours in Iraq. But that was fun,
Shit.
to trying to get your space with the grunts there too, especially because, there were other corporals and lesser people that I had to basically team up with, So that was interesting.
Okay. Hold on right there. I want him to
Yeah.
tell me about his challenges because
Yeah.
I know I'm sure you
I
have
do,
a
yeah.
lot of them,
I
but
know.
you're getting momentum. That's
It
good.
gets
That's good.
tense, right.
Keep it.
Challenges. I'd say for me it was the lifestyle, more of a lifestyle challenge. The issues I had, like people doing personal, when I got to the squadron.
Okay.
Um,
So this was after boot camp, after
boot camp, right, yeah, boot
MCT.
camp was-
Okay, so the challenges weren't there. The
oh,
challenges
there
were
were
after.
challenges in boot camp, of course.
Go
but
share
they're, like,
share one.
physical
Share one.
challenges.
A physical? Can you give me one?
Right. So when I went into boot camp, I was 130 pounds. Right. In no shape whatsoever. I think I had the what was the minimum pull-ups to get in? It was like
3.
5. Oh, 3.
I
3?
think it was 3.
Man, they told me 5.
They lied to you,
I
bro.
did like 6.
I did 5, though.
I did 6.
They
Oh,
lie,
damn,
So
that's
bro.
pretty
I got
good.
in
Yeah.
doing 6, and what was it? 10.5 minutes for the 1.5 mile run. So I was in terrible
Something like
shape.
that.
I was in terrible shape. I was, scrawny little kid. So the physical challenges in boot camp, the mental stuff, and I remember when they're trying to assign you the jobs, we were the
Oh boy.
when you post up the rifles before you go to chow, the 2 guys that have to go eat chow first so they can wash the rifles.
You're talking about like it's called the war locker guard,
Probably I
war
don't
locker
remember-
duty. I think it
I
was something like
remember
that.
the names of what anything was called, but that was my first one. So he's trying to teach us how to eat fast, and he's screaming in our face eating. And to
I
me, that
know.
was,
I know.
I remember just shaking, just like
Yeah.
trying to eat. So it was a shock.
So it was the mental.
At
the-
first,
the-
it was
the-
a shock, and like everybody else,
Yeah.
and over time, you get used to it. The crucible, other than the regular hardships of boot camp, the biggest challenge was, I remember it was the crucible. We were exhausted. It was like day 2 or 3. They had us doing this one drill exercise where we're patrolling,
Mm-hmm.
and we lose some people.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Right, so you have to. So I'm basically like buddy dragging
Yeah.
a buddy, and I'm exhausted at this point. I'm like barely hanging on, and like it's burning. I'm trying to pull this guy, and it's burning. And the instructor was I don't remember the guy, but I remember he said something to me. He was like, he's pushing us along, and he says, "Oh, if you can't save this guy, what are you gonna tell his mother when you couldn't save him?" And for some reason that got to me because I was exhausted,
Yeah.
burnt out. And when he said the way he said it, it got to me. I was thinking about that, and I just remember like screaming out, crying, just dragging this
Yeah.
guy, just hollering. That was boot camp challenges.
Yeah.
But I don't put too much. I don't consider those challenges like hard to get through because anybody that tells you boot camp was a cakewalk is probably lying.
Well, the thing is, like, everybody has different challenges throughout boot camp because boot camp challenges in so many ways. The shooting, the swimming, the running, the pull-ups, the crunches, the mental, the emotional, the psychological, meaning that when somebody's yelling at you, you have to keep your cool down and not take it personal. So it challenges you in many ways, and that at the end of the day, it equals adaptability. you know. So that's what they train us for. So you see, just like when he was telling you that, why you gonna tell his mother that you couldn't save him, That was like a mental thing that just kind of rewire you to be able to push yourself a little harder. And I know it doesn't make sense at the moment,
Yeah,
but later on you realize that.
Now it all makes sense. You realize that growth doesn't come without hardship, all that stuff, things that either we couldn't process or we're just forced to understand. But challenges for me in the squadron, the day-to-day life, was the interpersonal stuff. We had the guy in charge of the shop had it out for me. Same thing. You always got that one guy that doesn't like you, and it happens to be somebody in charge.
I think I know who it is too.
Have more rank than you do.
Oh, way more rank. But for whatever reason, this guy did
one less ribbon, but more rank, right?
right?
Yeah.
This guy had it out. And it was, just everybody would be sitting on their phones in the morning before we start. And they would come out, and it's not a problem that they're on the phone. It's a problem that you're the little dog and pony show games, just to mess with you.
Can I ask you, how old were you when you went in?
I was 21.
Okay, that's not bad.
So I was a little bit older. I actually walked into the recruiter's office on my 21st birthday.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it's amazing how everybody has different challenges, and different. I mean, I know you have a few more, in boot camp and stuff, and the gas chamber could have been one for somebody. You never know. I know we had it. We all had it during that time, but I don't know if they still have it. But yeah, I think one of my biggest challenges. Well, I had a lot of challenges too. And mostly was because a lot of people underestimated my the way I could deliver just because of my size. Also because of the language barrier that I had. I didn't know how to march. I think march was one of them. I didn't know how to march for shit. I was like,
you got IT.
That's not how you do it, Velasquez.
You got IT a lot.
I got IT, bro. I got IT like daily.
Yeah.
Even on Sundays, probably. And Sunday's supposed to be like that day. You're not supposed to like get IT, but I won't be surprised if I was
you were
IT.
stepping with your right foot and swinging your right arm at the same time.
Yeah, it took me so long to get it right.
I think the funniest part with somebody getting smoked, because everybody gets smoked almost equally.
Come on, bro, help me out, bro. Help me out with the mic, bro.
Sorry, man. I need my own microphone. Man.
I know. We need another one. Yeah.
So funny thing too about the marching is like when the drill instructor was telling what that guy was like, 1 stupid, 2 stupid, 3 stupid, 4 stupid. I mean, they come up with these ridiculous things. I mean, they should be making the documentary about about DIs.
I think they did, but I don't know.
Like very detailed. Like
I think with Mothers of America, I think it's kind of difficult to kind of like
the non-PG,
right?
Because man, that stuff is like, if you look back now, man, those were some funny stuff, man. Like I some hilarious shit that they did. We had a recruit Ho. That's his last name, and a recruit Ha. And a recruit Ha. And then
there's always one, bro. There's always one.
And then we had a drill instructor who's like, if I point at you, you say your last name. So he would just go Ho, Ha, Ho, Ha, and they'd be like Ho, 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 Ha, Ha, Ha. Dude, he had that. We were waiting in line to go to chow.
How do you keep your fucking barrel with that shit?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they do it right in front of you too, and then like they try to make you break your bearing, and then you're just watching this thing trying not to break down, because as soon as you break down, they're gonna IT the crap out of you, But yeah, that's some of the funny shit that I wish that like people would see. Like looking back, I'm like, man, that shit is hilarious. Like another one was like, right after shower, when you're facing each other, right? And then out of nowhere, your drill instructor is like, towels online, ready, move. So imagine looking at the guy right in front of you, and you're just like, don't fucking look down, bro. You don't fucking like stuff like that, man. Like they do some funny
don't
stuff.
remember
Man.
having to do that, bro.
No, they play a lot of games. It's when you're
We play
at that
different
moment,
games. We play
it
different
fucking
That's a little
sucks.
sus right
we
there,
didn't
huh?
have to do the towels online. We played different games, but it was still
Nah,
games.
bro. The game that I hated the most was the one where like, if one fucked up, we would take all our shit outside, all the war lockers, and dump them, and then they'll
Outside?
kick the stuff out,
Oh.
and then we had to find our
Yeah.
shit later. And or the racks, like they'll dismantle all the racks, and then you have to
We've
put
only
them
had to do
together.
that, like 2 or 3 times.
And they threw the guide on outside the parade deck. It was
We
ridiculous,
never,
dude.
we barely had to do any of that.
What's it called? Did you
no,
go?
no, it just so happens that the guy that was doing ours liked to play different games.
Oh, okay.
So it
Can you share one of the games they played
this
that
was phase 1, early, right? So we're all terrified and we don't know what's going on.
heinous leaves? I remember that
Right,
phase.
still
Yeah.
early. Something happened. I can't remember what, but we did something. We pissed our kill hat.
Somebody probably sneaking some peanut butter
No,
or something.
Too early.
No?
Too early
Too
for
early.
that. That happened later. But
Oh.
for whatever reason, we pissed off our kill hat, and he was particularly like really wanting to mess with us. So it was the thing where they ITU where everybody gets in line, right? For us, it was running through the forest, right? So high knees, you jump up because there's a log.
Well, you said
Burpee.
forest.
Yeah, running through the forest is what was the name.
Oh,
of the
he
game.
was East Coast.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
East Coast. I was
I'm
East
like,
Coast.
wait a minute, like,
I forget there's
yeah, I didn't know you were in the East Coast.
Yeah.
I should have asked. I assume because you guys lived there, I assume everybody went to San Diego. Okay, my
I'm
bad,
just
man.
out of Florida,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Continue.
By running through the forest, so it's basically you high knees in place. When he says log, you jump up. When he says branch, you do a burpee.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and
Okay, the
they-
terminology is a little different there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they get us all sweaty, and then it was to strip down, but take your shirts off and throw them in a pile.
Oh,
Throw your
fuck.
shirts off in a pile.
that.
Then he would get us going. I keep going. IT. All right, now take your skivvies off. Throw the shorts, skivvy shorts off, and throw them in the pile.
Oh.
Right, and then you get all sweaty. And then he's like, "All right, well, it's time to go take a bath." So like,
You gotta put that shit back
so
on.
he made us go. No, we left the piles all sweaty.
Oh, that's
He made us go into the shower where the showers are, and all like hoard in the corner. And he's like, "Take your canteen and dump it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now scrub yourself, like lather yourselves in soap." Right,
Wow,
and
this
then he took one canteen and he threw it in the crowd. He's like, "Now you're all rinsed off. Get back online."
Yep.
So we're in line, all sweaty and soapy and stuff. So he gets us going, gets us sweaty again. He's like, "Now you got 10 seconds to find your shirt."
I think I know what probably
So
happened.
he would say, if the 10 seconds are up and you're not in line, worst thing. So basically, grab a shirt and get in line. Don't look, just grab a shirt.
Oh.
Right, so then he made us grab random sweaty stuff, and I mean he waited till we were drenched, and then you just had to put on somebody's random sweaty skivvies on, and then he was like, "All right, get in bed," and we had to go to sleep like that.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Somebody was a smart ass, and he's like, okay.
I don't remember what we did, but he
And
was
not,
happy.
or a few people were not really putting out, and he was just tired of the shit. So he was like, you know what, they're gonna fear me, or they're gonna put out. And I think he was just trying to let you guys know that, if you guys are not doing this shit the way you're supposed to, he's gonna keep fucking with you guys.
It was an early
Hey,
lesson.
I give props to that. Hey,
That's creativity.
That's pretty good
It's
imagination.
creative.
That's very
Creative.
creative.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I've never heard of that. That's
That
good.
guy was an artist.
That is an
I got
art.
a lot of stories of him. That guy was an artist.
That's art. Like, just thinking about it, like, man, that's a good way to fuck somebody's day up. So yeah, that's art, dude.
And but yeah, I forgot to say what I did in the military. And I don't know if you know anybody that happened to it while you guys were in it, but whenever they were calling out the MOSs, I don't know if you guys remember that day.
Yeah.
Well, most people already knew because they had contracts. But for the people that were open contract, they didn't know what they were gonna get.
Oh yeah, I had an open contract.
You had open contract?
Yeah, I did.
Really, you went
Yeah,
out
that was-
I did.
I have a really good.
You had open contract too?
No.
Oh, you had a
There's
contract.
different
You-
story about it.
No, I went.
You had a contract already.
a
What you were gonna do? Bro, I swear to God, one of the most disappointing days at boot camp because I was still there was that day because I told my recruiter I wanted to be in 0311, and then these fuckers gave me field mess, which it was cooked.
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh, dang.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this shit no more. You know, I was pissed off. And then the drill instructor was like, look, I used to be a cook. You know, it's not as bad as it sounds, you know, yada, yada, yada. And then if you don't like it, you can always go to another job. So,
He didn't say how long it was going to take.
no, he didn't know, right?
Damn.
So I that's why I did a lab move. You know, after some time, I did a lab move. But I did the best of it. For the people out there that pretty much are in that situation, just remember that just make the best of what you got, and then whenever there's an opportunity for you to do better things, just do it. Because what happens, dude, is you get the worst or MOS or the shittest MOS or the MOS you don't want, you know. And then what happens? People fuck up on purpose, just so they don't do shit.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be that kind of Marine, you know. And luckily for me, you know, I wasn't like that. You know, I said, you know, I'm gonna give it my best. I'm gonna do the best I can to stay out of trouble, get promoted, not be that shitty Marine, and I did that. You know, I there was this time where this guy was supposed to get deployed to Afghanistan, and he got scared. He started crying, all this stuff, and then like, okay, Jeffrey, you're going. Like, Velasquez, you're going. I'm like, okay, you know, like,
yeah.
But I don't get it. Like, he had the chance to, you know, to go. Not a lot of people get to deploy.
Not everybody wants it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
But when you're a Marine, dude,
that's what
they
you want.
they drill that shit in your head that you're out there. You're a Marine for a purpose. You have a purpose, you know. And when you're a Marine, you expect to go over there and do what you're supposed to do. You know, everybody's dying. Well, most people that I was around, they were anxious to do it, but a lot of people were disappointed that they weren't able to do it.
Yeah.
So just I think for those people that are listening, just do the best you can. If things, you know, don't begin the way I mean, if they don't start the way you expect them to start, I guess that's. You say you were open contract too, right?
No, I was not on open contract.
Oh, no, you said you were.
No, I was open contract.
So what happened with you though?
I mean, I just put down like the 3 things I hoped I was going to be, but I didn't know like the order of like which way my drill instructor, my recruiter put it.
Yeah.
He said that I scored high enough to do basically like something with aviation. So I think he put that one, and then I was like, well, I want to do like 0311. I want to be a grunt.
You're too smart, bro. Sorry.
No, he was like, let somebody else do that. And I was like, hey, but you know, that's what I want to do. So he's like, well, I'll put that as your second choice. Mm-hmm. And then the next one was tracks. So I was like, well, fuck, like hopefully
that's what I did.
Yeah, and then the reason I found out that I was going aviation was they told me, it was like, hey, you have 5 years active, 3 reserve.
Okay.
And I was like, wait, I thought it's 4 years active, 4 reserve. He's like, well, you're going to an aviation.
So it's like they already knew. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to be aviation. And aviation, you do an extra year because of the training. Depends on what you get. Mm-hmm. So even though, like, I went open contract, and then now I'm in an aviation open contract again. So I didn't know what I was going to get until I got to the schoolhouse. So I was like, well, damn, like, that's crazy. But I just want to bounce off of, like, the deployment stuff. I would have never been on our unit if I didn't volunteer to go on a deployment, because I just got into the fleet, and from the fleet, like what my job is, we get attached to a different aviation squadron. So I just literally just got there, like not even a week, and our sergeant walks up to one of the other guys, and he was like, hey man, you're gonna go to 214 and you're gonna deploy with them. And he was like, oh, I'm about to have a baby. And I'm standing right next to him, and he was like, well, somebody has to go. And I was like, I'll go. Like, no hesitation. I was like, I'll go. I was like, heck yeah, you know. And that's how I got transferred to our unit, and which they wanted me to go back, but I was like, dude, our unit deploys so much. I'm like, I'm staying here. I want to go every like 6-7 months. Like, so yeah, that's why I ended up staying at 214 for the whole time that I was in.
Okay, yeah. Shit. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy how things work out.
I mean, I love the whole experience. I mean, yeah, there's some shitty days. Like, our unit worked a lot.
We worked a lot. It was
weekends, a lot of weekends, and it was what 12 on, 12 off
12
most
on,
of the
12 off.
time. So,
Shit, dude.
but still, like I wouldn't trade it. It was a good time. I meet a lot of good people, like
Yeah.
There was definitely a lot of pros.
yeah.
Well, it's a
So
wing
to go
unit,
with
so
cons.
hopefully wing units are not too bad besides the schedule or besides
It's the schedule. So the difference between the air wing and the rest of the Marine Corps, I can't speak on the
Yeah.
rest, but
nice barracks.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
hell
yeah.
no.
Yuma
No.
had the good barracks.
no, they didn't. We
Well,
Yes.
I lived in the ones over there by the entrance.
Oh, that's the new one.
Nah,
one.
but they
That's
were
the new one.
smaller.
No, I have. They were definitely nicer. Those were nice.
Yeah, those were
barracks.
Nah, dude,
No,
I've
we
I've
were in
been
the
to the ones where the wing
one
unit were.
next to the commissary, right across the street from what was that building? The new gym.
Yeah, the gym.
The
Yeah, you guys were.
the barracks right across the street.
No,
from
we were by the chow
commissary
hall.
is where
We were by the chow
You
hall.
guys didn't have like numbered areas.
It was
No.
a small
3
base,
areas.
but
It's a small
but you
base.
were-
No,
Yeah,
Yuma's a
these
small
ones-
base, bro. It's not
those
that big.
barracks in the front were newer.
Yeah.
But they shut off the AC between like March to May
Okay.
because it was technically winter, but it was Yuma, so it was already 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for like 3 months, we're sitting in these barracks with like 100+ degrees.
You gotta
with
open
no
your
AC.
window.
No AC. So
Yeah.
these little things, but it was for the difference between the air wing and the rest is the air wing is a little bit more relaxed when it comes to the Marine Corps things. Uniform inspections, all of that stuff kind of goes out the window because our entire focus is the flight schedule.
Yeah.
It's all about getting the aircraft up and fixing the aircraft. So we get away with a lot of stuff because you don't have time to be playing these games. You need to be fixing an actual aircraft. So we spent more time working than we did doing
Marine Corps stuff.
Marine Corps stuff, which kind of if you're gun ho and into that kind of stuff, you lose out on some of those opportunities. But you're so focused on work,
Yeah.
myself especially with avionics and all the electrical stuff, we had to know what we were doing. So it was a lot of times they were like, hey, this guy he's not going to do this thing that you have planned out. He's going to work because we need him to work.
You probably missed out on like good detached deployments, huh?
Oh yeah, a lot of
Since you
most
had
of
to
that
work.
stuff wasn't really available, just because they needed us to work. And it saved you from the dumb stuff, but you also missed out on.
Yeah, like cool deployments, because
So
there
we're
are
doing
a lot
some
of really
cool
cool
stuff.
deployments
Oh,
too,
yeah.
But
And there were cool things we got to do. Air shows. Our deployments are basically booze cruises, anyways. Because we never have to leave the boat. So it's definitely a different culture in the air wing, and it's only focused around
The aircraft.
actual work and maintenance and the aircraft and the
Yeah.
flight schedule. That's all that matters to an air winger.
Yeah.
For the before we move on to the I guess life after the military, what's something you would like? We'll start from here so we have like order and shit. Okay,
you
go
did
ahead.
ask me if I was open contract. I did. I just heard contract for some reason. I was zoning out and thinking about what one of these guys were saying.
You were open
I
contract?
was open contract.
Okay,
too,
okay.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, but his is
Well, the thing is that this is really important too for the young cats, that are thinking about joining. And I think this goes for any branch, like I didn't know that if you get some college credits, you can use that. And once you, at least for me, this is what I remember they told us after boot camp, when you're in the fleet, there's people that go in there with you as a recruit, and then before you know it, they're PFCs and you're still a private.
Oh, okay. So you get an
Because
extra
they have
rank
some
because of
college
the
ranks.
extra college you did.
Right, and I
Okay.
didn't know that.
That's
I
right.
wish I would have known that.
Oh wow,
nobody-
they didn't tell you that?
No, my recruiter didn't tell me shit. I think there was even bonuses given out, and I didn't even know about bonuses. I was very young and naive, and nobody really. I didn't come from a military family. I mean, I lived in a war zone in El Salvador, but I
Yeah.
was born there.
Same,
but,
same, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's different, because the recruiter also told me, he's like, he did say study this, the ASVAB, study it.
Yeah.
It is the ASVAB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's been that long, so remember.
Grand old man,
it's
yeah.
not that fresh anymore. So he gave me a different like an old version of it, or I don't know what, but and I was never really good at sticking to reading, like I do now, and So I could have gotten a better job, and I think I barely passed. I got like the minimum you can get. It was like 33 or something. Like
32.
32.
I tell you why I
think
remember.
I got 33. So then the recruiter comes back later and he's like, "All right, so you got three choices here. You could either be a cook, or you could be in artillery or infantry." I was like, "Shit."
Damn.
And this was like
At least
right
they offer
after
you that.
this was right after 9/11. So I was like, "Yeah, I know." And you know, you're joining the Marine Corps. Yeah, you're gonna end up
Somewhere.
deploying somewhere in the desert, right? So I already knew that, but I was like, "Do I want to go out as a cook?" You know, and I was thinking this because he gave me time to.
We
think.
lost a beloved
Yeah,
kid.
I'm like, I don't like none of those options. I was thinking, you know, maybe more on the engineering side or something.
Artillery. I like artillery.
Yeah, well, you read my mind because I was like, okay, I am not cooking for all these fuckers. I don't even cook
That
for
was
myself.
me, dude. I know. Yeah.
And then infantry, I'm like, nah, I don't want to be the
That's
first
too danger
one.
close.
I'm like, I'll let somebody else do that, you know. But I give them credit, you know, the grunts.
Yeah, of course.
And then artillery, I was like, okay, it's the happy medium, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then when I get to my MOS, because I had to make a choice, I told them, so all this time during boot camp, I was thinking
You thought you were already
artillery.
gonna be
Artillery. So then when they're giving you the MOS, when you're in your MOS school, and then they were calling people that were going to go to certain places or other people to different countries, you know. And then once our group was still there and everybody else left, I think the staff sergeant that was there, who was like, all right, engineers, you know, we started marching this way. I'm like, engineers? I'm like, when did?
Oh, this was at
artillery became-
this was after
MOS school.
MCT, or that was
Mhm.
okay.
No, this was after MCT. Yeah, you're in MOS school,
Okay.
right? So I was like, engineers. I'm like, why engineers? When did they change artillery to engineers? And I'm like, how did that happen? So somebody
Oh,
must
this
have put me in the
motherfucker,
wrong
dude.
category. Yeah, the wrong category. And then when get close to our actual like what we're gonna be
Wow.
studying, I see all this freaking transformers, you know, because they're huge. The scraper, I don't know if you guys ever seen a scraper, the ratchet, all these humongous equipment. You know, maybe not the ratchet there in Missouri City, in Missouri, but all these equipment. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I guess I'm an engineer now, and then I just kept it. I didn't say a word, and
At least it wasn't a cook, bro.
I wasn't a cook. I think a heavy
Dude.
equipment operator was one of the best freaking jobs in the world. You're a big target when you're out there you know,
Yeah.
in the desert, but that's when you really think about it. But other than that, man,
So you're telling the people that want to sign in, the people that want to
study-
want to join the
study after, yeah.
militaries, know what you're getting, pay attention, ask
Mhm.
questions about the
Right.
contract, what you're really.
Exactly.
What does this mean? What does that mean? Because you don't want to get
Yes.
surprises. I think you got fisted. I'm gonna be honest with you because
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think somebody changed the paperwork or something. Somebody made a mistake or somebody did it on purpose.
In my favor, though.
You
That
got
was a good
lucky
mistake.
though.
Yeah,
you got lucky though.
I did. a lot of
Because
people get shafted.
because sometimes you never know who's that shady motherfucker that's doing it for a bonus.
right,
That's doing it for like numbers.
Exactly.
You never know.
exactly.
You never know. So you got lucky.
A bonus, bro.
I know, I did, man. I would have been happy with $100, man.
You got
You
pretty
got the
lucky,
time.
bro.
Yeah.
So I guess, man, like I
But you
guess.
feel a little intimidated too, you know, like, man, this guy was huge, man. And then I remember he was talking, he's like, do you want to look like me one day? I'm like, and I was skinny, man. I was like,
Oh,
130
maybe.
pounds. I was like, yes.
Uh-huh.
And then I would tell my parents, because he actually came to talk to my parents too. He's like, you know, he's good. He's gonna be looking like me one day, you know. And my mom was like, oh yeah, that's so okay.
Uniform and everything.
Yeah. Well, he had the freaking Charlies.
Oh
But,
wow.
yeah.
Well, damn, man. Speaking of, did you guys knew I was an ASPAT waiver?
You were
Really?
an
You were an athlete?
How do you do
I
that?
took it 3 times and I still couldn't pass it.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I scored like a 20. I scored like a 29 on the ASVAB. But I got higher because I got waived because I had a high GT score, and I had those options too that you had, and I guess I said just open contract and see what happens because I don't want the shittest job. And next thing you know, I get the shittest job. I'm like, dude.
That's what open
Like-
contract is for.
Yeah, but it sucks,
to
dude. Cause
shut the shittiest jobs.
yeah, because if I knew the Amtrak was like one of the MOSs I could have went, it sucked too because I did it. It's badass when you're doing the shooting. It's badass when you're doing the boat stuff in the ocean and shit like that. When you're transporting in the water, but dude, it's a shitty lifestyle being in Amtrak's. Yep. We just but you know what?
Better than a cook, though, huh?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, dude. Like I thought the same way too. I said I don't want to cook.
Hey,
but
I'm not shitting on all the cooks out there either. All right.
No.
Of course you're
I give you
not.
guys
Of
props.
course.
I mean, I did.
Somebody has to do it, you know. Somebody
Yeah.
has to do it, and some people do join to be cooks. And I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
surprised
that's-
when I
I do
heard
know
that.
some people that joined to be
Yeah,
cooks.
they wanted to be cooks. They thought it was gonna be the shit. They thought they were gonna be these high 5-star restaurant chefs or whatever. And next thing you know, they're cooking rations and shit in plastic. Like, dude, like no, like this it's not what it is. And it's being a cook sucks because it's like wings, you know, like the wing unit. Like you guys are always like on the clock, and for us, we have to wake up early as fuck to like prep and shit. And the Chinese field day, the kitchen, Chinese field day in the kitchen was no joke.
Yeah, I give you the props of that.
Yeah,
It's
fuck
definitely
that
not an easy
shit.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a hard job. It's just shitty job.
Where was your MOS at?
I started in Japan.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
I started in Japan, and then I went to Yuma after my rotation. You know, after I came from
Japan to
Afghanistan.
Yuma.
That's weird.
How was that adjustment for you?
I thought I wanted to be closer to home, and I didn't know that Yuma and honestly like Camp Pendleton were like almost like
Well, 2
close,
hours.
like 2 hours. But I'm like whatever, right? So I thought I was gonna be driving home to see my family because I thought I was gonna be close to home. But then I realized like what the fuck, you know, I'm still far. I'm not gonna be doing this trip, so I just flew instead of driving. But you know what?
So wait, what year were you in Yuma again?
2011,
To
2013.
dude, he was there the same time
Yeah.
we were there. That's
I
what I'm
got
saying.
there. No, I didn't. We got there like at the end of 2013.
Oh, okay. You know, I
20
was gone by then.
2012.
So Callie was there. You were there before I was, right? Yeah, because you
I
went on
think
the
so.
deployment.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the years you told me you hated the food?
I was in film mess. I was on the. I was with that 371.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in a
No
different
pun
base.
intended.
Yeah, no pun.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think at the end of the day, with all the stories, with everything you guys share, I think the best thing to do, and everybody seemed to, that you guys went through challenges, is do the best you can and what you got when the opportunity is given.
Oh yeah.
I guess you guys did not share a challenge or an obstacle when it came to shooting. Everybody expert here, but I wasn't an expert. You know, I wasn't an expert at shooting. I wasn't an expert at swimming. I wasn't an expert at pull-ups. I wasn't an expert at running. I wasn't an expert at a lot of shit. I wasn't an expert at marching, ASVAB. You know, I wasn't an expert at anything. But I became better because I always looked up to the people that were better than me.
Yeah.
So I was able to compare myself that if they could do it, I could do it.
Yeah.
And I did okay, you know. So I just hope that the people that are watching that believe that they can do it, I think if they put their mind to it, they can. I want to transition a little bit more into the lifestyle after the military, just because I want to hear your stories about what you guys did afterwards. What did you guys do, and how did it affect you, and how you live your life now?
Well, for me, it was. I didn't really have a clear direction getting out, and that's kind of my fault because I didn't really prep for it. It's not something I thought about. Towards the end, I decided I was either gonna try for MARSOC or lat move and re-enlist under a different MOS.
Same branch.
Yeah, same
Okay.
branch, just different MOS. I didn't want to be in the air wing. But because I tried out for MARSOC, I didn't go on the last deployment that we had, which was back to Japan. But so we got stationed when I came back after failing.
That was like a MU unit, like a MU deployment.
Yeah,
Okay.
the MU deployment. It was the 31st MU
Okay.
out to Japan. That our squadron always goes on the 31st. I didn't go on that deployment because I wanted to try out for MARSOC. So myself and a handful of the people from my squadron that didn't go on the deployment, we got stationed with our sister squadron there. Well, the gunny in that shop hated my guts. This guy and I were like oil and water. We did not mix at all. And when it was coming towards the end of my time there, I thought, if I lap move to do a different job because I think it's gonna be better. I remember the whole time we were in, they told us that that squadron was better than our squadron. They did everything better, you know, they were just all around better people. When I got there and I saw that they in fact like were cutting corners and not, you know, as by the book as they seemed, I realized I was like, you know what, maybe the grass isn't greener on the other side. Like I think there's a chance that I can lap move for, you know, do another 4 or 5 years and get stuck with somebody even worse than this guy, and that'll really make my time bad. So I decided that getting out was my way to go. But I didn't have a plan, a direction. I know avionics gives you the
Oh, well, everybody wants to know too. What happened with Marsak?
Yeah, no, I was like,
Come on, dude. Don't leave us hanging like this.
So-
So what happened?
long story short is it turns out I'm not actually a good swimmer. I thought I knew how to swim, but what they put you through on Marsoc is
It's
not the same.
extremely intense, bro.
It's not the same as
Extremely
just
intense.
keeping yourself afloat. It turns out I can't swim. I can just keep myself afloat long
Yeah.
enough
Oh no, man.
to stop. Well, I learned that the hard way. I made it what 3 weeks in,
Okay.
so almost halfway, not very far.
How did you
how'd you go out?
how did you surpass how did you surpass that moment? Because I can imagine for you it was such a dark, I want to say a dark moment because you really wanted it, and a certain challenge, a certain obstacle did not allow you to. How did you
It was hard.
process that, I guess?
It was hard. It hit hard too. So I went down in the water. It was cold, so it was in January, cold. Already wasn't really the strongest guy. You know, when it comes to the land stuff, that's you can push through that. But pushing through in the water when you don't know what you're doing, and I can now understand that I did not know what I was doing in the water.
Did you do anything to prepare yourself for this transition, for this lab move, for this idea? Did you prepare yourself?
We had months before. There's a whole training plan they gave us
Okay.
to do, and you follow the workout routine. Is basically to, you know, be in the shape. One of the things they recommended to us was to sign up for a McWIS,
Okay, yeah.
and I can't remember what it was. The McMap class in Quantico.
No,
Yeah,
hey, my
black
quest
belt?
is swimming,
The
right?
black belt class.
Oh, the black belt, and then to be a swim instructor.
No, that's the McWIS.
The McQuist, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
so talk to your S shop and sign up for those 2 classes,
Okay,
and that'll prep you for
the swim.
the MARSOC training.
Okay.
My S1 shop dropped the ball and never signed us up for the class when we asked them to. So when
They
the time
always,
came to go, they're like, "Oh no, we forgot to sign you up." So I missed the McWIS training before McMap. And
Yeah.
either that would have taught me what I needed to know, or I would have learned in McWIS, like, hey, you're really not meant for this.
Okay.
But it is what it is.
Do you think it was just lack of preparation? You think if you would have, gotten a little bit of that training, you think they would have made a difference?
Physically, it would have made a difference because assuming McWIS would have gone as well, either one of the 2 things would have happened to McWIS. I would have failed McWIS,
Okay.
you know, because it turns out I'm really that bad of a swimmer, or they would have taught me how to, you know, move in the water.
Okay.
Either that doesn't guarantee I would have passed
MARSOC.
I know
Okay.
that's a different process,
Okay.
but it would have prepared me more for the water. But when I went down, it was devastating because I didn't want to quit. You know, nobody wants to quit.
Yeah.
That marine mentality, we want to keep going.
Dude,
But
yeah.
I knew I couldn't. And then it's not like hey, you're done. They tell you like you need to say you're done. You know, so it took me. I had to process it for a while. The dream kept dreaming for years afterwards. I still dream I'm in the MARSOC training. I still dream about that pool. So it was rough to get used to it. You know, it was a big blow to the ego.
Yeah, of course.
It made me realize that I wasn't where I thought I was. You know, so I was so stuck in my way and in my cycle I was in that after that burn, I was like, you know what, I really am lacking in certain areas. but that was right towards the end of my time in the Marine Corps. When I
Okay.
failed MARSOC, I had less than 6 months left.
Okay. You didn't have to extend or anything.
No,
Okay.
that's why I went then, because that way I didn't have to extend, assuming it didn't work out. And there was the possibilities of failing was high. Even if I was the best physically, I still could have not been selected, right? So I understand that like just the water wasn't, it wasn't guaranteed.
Um, after that happened, and then you decided to get out. How did you You say you didn't have a plan at all.
No,
You didn't have a plan at all. So
it was hard for me because one, going down in the water right when I was about to get out, I realized mentally I wasn't I guess the best way I can put it is I wasn't in a good place mentally getting
Okay.
out. I had no concrete plan. I had somewhat of a plan, but I was too reliant on somebody else, and they kind of dropped the ball.
Okay.
Trying to get some work out in Fort Worth, Texas.
okay.
That didn't work out, so I decided to go back up to New York, and I used the GI Bill. But for like 2 years, I was going to school, and it was a really hard adjustment for me getting out because following a really strict work schedule in avionics to go into zero work schedule, just like school 2 days out of the week is all I was doing. Like actually physically going into school 2 days out of the week. So I had a lot of time, no structure. I wasn't in the best place mentally. So for like 2 years, I just kind of existed.
Did you have to deal with a lot of like depression and maybe a little bit of I want to say maybe mental instability, I want to say.
A lot, not severe and not to the point where I recognized it. I just kind of I was stagnant is the best way I can put it.
Okay.
I just kind of inactive, like retreated into myself, not doing really anything productive,
Yeah.
nothing. I just kind of existing. But then I was struggling. I remember then some time passed. I moved down here to Texas because Callie was here, and when we're finally like actually hanging out with other Marines and in the group together, they're talking about like filing their claims and stuff, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Did you know anybody in Texas besides Cali?
No.
So you were on your own pretty much?
Yeah, I moved down because I knew Callie was here.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to kind of find your place.
Yeah, yeah. So
kind of do something, yeah.
Callie was the anchor to come down here. But when I was talking to other veterans and they're talking about, hey, doing the mental health claim, I'm like, mental health claim? It's like, yeah, if you tell them you have this and you have that and you wake up like this and you dream about that, they'll put you down as like, needing mental help. And I'm like,
yeah,
but I have all of that. Like that, I'm not pretending. Like that's like,
yeah.
like, what do you mean? What? Dreaming about this is bad? They're like, yeah. If you tell them you're going, so listening to them talk about what they say to get their claims, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I might actually have something.
Yeah.
So I was kind of ignorant to all of it.
And you know what? I know it. I think most of us are ignorant when it comes to that stuff. So trust me. And there are many other people that are probably gonna be in the same boat because that's just what most of us will go through, right? Kelly, what about you, man? How was the military after you decided to get out of the military? Did you had a plan?
Well, I kind of had a plan and kind of didn't because my plan was originally to do 20 years. I really wanted to retire. And like he would say, is like, yeah, if you were like that gung-ho, I was like one of those gung-ho, I want to, Marine Corps, And I loved the Marine Corps. I had a lot of family that was in the military. And so, and the only reason I got out, and I did my whole re-enlistment package. Package got approved, everything.
So what happened?
Well, like you said, sometimes it's the people, right? So I did my re-enlistment package while I was even still on deployment. So when I got back, I finished it up, gave it to our career planner. So, and then at the same time, after getting back, she calls me up to the office and she was like, "Hey, your package got approved, but I need you to sign this." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna sign it." I was like, "So let me go up there," and she said, "Oh, I need to turn this in 2 hours." And I said, "Well, where am I going?" I said, "Oh, you're gonna get stationed in Iwakuni in Japan." And I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Can I think about this? Like, can I?"
You got 2 days, bro.
She was like, "No, you got 2 hours."
Oh, 2 hours.
No,
Fuck.
well, the thing is, like, they're supposed to give you 10 days to think about this
Yeah.
stuff. And the worst part about that is, like, I just got back from deployment. It hasn't even been like it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just got back. She like, "Oh, I need this signed," and she's like, "You need to report to your new duty station in 21 days."
Oh crap!
And I was like, "Yo, like, you're dropping all of this to me all at once." I was like, "I haven't been home to go see my family after the deployment."
Yeah.
And you're saying that I need. He's like, "Yeah, but if you don't sign this today, you're not gonna
Extend.
you're gonna get out."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, shit, I guess I'm gonna get out."
Wow.
So I kind of like, and I just like looked at her and I was like, "Whoa."
What the fuck,
She
dude?
was like, "Are you sure you want to get?" I was like, "I don't want to get out."
I
But I
don't
was
want
like,
2 hours. Come on, 10
but I
days
have
versus
2
2 hours.
hours
Come
to
on, man.
think about this, And at the same time, I'm like, I was going through some stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just got back from deployment and then going through a divorce at the same time.
Request my ass, bitch.
You know what I'm saying? I was like,
right?
going through divorce, just got back from deployment, and then now you're gonna send me out to a different country for the next 4 years, and then I haven't even seen my family back home.
Yeah, man.
So honestly, after that, like, I was just like, that just kind of like
What
threw
the
me off. So
fuck, dude?
I ended up getting out, and then after I got out, I started going to school, and then that's when we met. We worked at the gym together. My plan was honestly just get my degree and then go back in as an officer.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I, go in as an officer and
Continue.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I wanted to do 20 years. The opportunity came up for us to get into a business with me, my mom, and my brother to own a preschool because my mom owned a home daycare. And so, but still, at the back of my head, I was like, I was still going to school. Now we're taking over this brand new, this preschool, and I'm still thinking like I'm gonna graduate and I'm still gonna go do the military stuff. So, long story short, like, we took over the school. I got so busy with the business because we invested everything in that business to get it. Everything I've made in the military was invested in there. My brother put his stuff in. My mom basically put her whole life savings in there. So I didn't want it to fail. And I couldn't see anybody else kind of taking charge of it and running it at the time. So I kind of just kept working on the school until it got really good. And till this day, I'm very grateful for it. Like, school, the business is successful. I kind of
When you were in the military, did you know your parents are running this kind of business?
Yeah. My mom was running the home daycare since I was in high school.
Okay.
So, and she's done really well, but she wanted to expand it, and I think me and my brother being there to help her kind of make it bigger was the thing. So after seeing that, like, hey, the business is doing good, and then I stopped going to school. I have like 2 semesters left. I never even, basically what I'm doing now, managing business, is what I was going to school for.
Okay.
So I ended up not even finishing my degree. Like, we're going into 4 years now. So I got like 2 semesters left, but I was like, what's the point? Like,
It's a big operation, man.
Yeah.
Expanding a business, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, if I ask you what is something you learned in the military you can apply to that, I'll be interested to hear the answer. But the answer will probably be zero.
no, there's actually a lot.
Organization,
Organization,
discipline,
discipline.
dedication,
Yeah.
focus. I guess maybe those things,
And
right?
that's a lot of things that a lot of other business owners don't have.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the main thing is, like, for example, when we took over this business, COVID happened.
Oh.
When we bought the business, it had 128 students. The next week, since the state shut down the state, I mean the government shut down the state, a lot of the parents started pulling out, and we had
Yeah.
like 40 kids, and that wasn't even enough to pay the salary of the teachers. So a lot of that is like what he said, like when you're, or, what everybody's been saying, when you have that Marine Corps mentality, you're just like, fuck that, I'm not gonna let this fail, So you just basically do everything. We had to like cut down a lot of employees because we couldn't afford to pay them. So I was there from 6 in the morning till like 8:30, 9 at night. I was doing the cooking. I was giving breaks to some of the staff so that I
Yeah.
didn't. And then at night after we closed everything down, I was doing the cleaning of the whole school. We were doing the cleaning. So that's one of the biggest thing that I learned in the Marine Corps is like, no, I'm not gonna give up. Like, no matter what it takes, if I'm gonna keep going. And so, after a few years, like looking back, I'm like, if that didn't shut us down, then I'm nothing.
Yeah,
Like the
nothing.
rest that's coming, I don't think is, it's a big help. Yeah, like just having that mentality, I think. Yeah.
Wow, wow. It's that's very inspiring, man, because a lot of people out there when they feel like all hope is lost,
Oh yeah.
it's when you think of ways to make it work. Is it always the case? No, but when you do it, into it, into you run out of all the options,
Oh
then
yeah.
you realize, like, you know what? I'm glad I
Kept
thought about
going.
everything possible to kind of keep this idea alive, right?
Yeah.
In this case, was your family's business.
Yeah.
Imagine if it would have. Imagine if you look. Not everybody does that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most sons, most people, they will not step into a daycare business coming out of the military.
No, a lot of people
They were
don't.
afraid to kill the baby. I mean, for example, I killed the kid
a lot of
on
people-
accident. On accident.
Yeah, a lot of people are like,
On
wait,
accident,
you
because
were
I
in the
won't know
Marine
what-
Corps and now you're
Yeah.
you're with kids all
Yeah,
day. I'm like,
yeah.
well, it's like
Yeah.
watching a bunch of Lance Corporals run around anyway. So
Yeah, it's incredible, that you were able to pull it off.
yeah.
And that even though you sacrificed everything you had at your disposal, you were able to get it done. Of course, it was a family effort. It wasn't a one team fight, right? Your brother, your mom,
Yeah.
your dad, everybody, your sister probably too
Oh, yeah.
helped out,
Yeah.
So, I'm glad everything paid off, but I wish I could say the same for many people. Like my mother, she was trying to pull me into her business, but that's not what I wanted. It's just not what I wanted. It's what something she wanted, because I believe that I could do more,
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to do more. I'm still working on doing more, but she's in limbo. I can't do that, dude. I wanna be able to reach higher heights, in society, and as a man, and at the same time, in a career,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm striving for right now. But but like I said, not everybody is able to do that. So that's why you you have done greater things than most people would have done in your situation. Especially giving it all out there. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
putting your money, everybody's putting everything out there to make your family's vision work, and it
Mhm.
worked. And that's why, like, you should be proud of that, because not a lot
appreciate
of
it.
people are able to do that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, and that your brother should be proud too.
Mm-hmm.
I know right now he's not here, but he should. If he ever hears this podcast, I want him to understand that he's done a very great thing
Yeah.
to be there to show support, and okay, I haven't forgot about you, bro.
Ran out of juice.
Oh yeah, we got more juice. We got more juice in the freezer. Yeah,
Oh, here after this, then I
Oh,
want to answer you.
you want water?
No, that's fine. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to be dehydrated. You want water or anything?
No, I'm good.
I'm good right now.
All right.
So, I guess before I it's gonna make sense at the end. I did work with my father through high school and all that. Because I had a son at the really young age. So, there was a lot of that. Yeah. Oh.
Something else.
Oh. Okay. So I work with my dad. He owned
Mhm.
a painting company, So, but just like how you say, like sometimes there's people that are just happy with what they're doing, and he was excellent at what he was doing. I mean, I learned a lot from my man, But I wanted to keep pushing forward. I don't know. I've always had a really good work ethic, I think, and I learned a lot of patience from him and many other things. And then I joined the Marine Corps. I didn't have a green card, so I couldn't join right after high school. So, and I figured I needed something tough because I had heard Marines, like a lot of discipline, a lot of toughness, and this and that.
Well, at
And I'm
least
like,
you heard that, because I didn't hear shit, dude.
No.
I saw the uniform. I wanted
yeah,
that.
well, yeah, those commercials too. The badass commercials. You kill the beast or the dragon, whatever.
Oh yeah.
That was inspiring too. But I was like, because I was doing bad things, and I had to wait because then I needed to stop smoking weed, to join. That took a while, and because I smoked it religiously,
Okay.
And then so when I finally stopped, I already had a son and going through a divorce and all that. So, and then I was like, I really need a place that really shapes me up.
And this
'cause
happened before you joined the military?
The
The
which part?
divorce,
Yeah.
having a kid.
Oh, right before.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all
That's
of
crazy,
that, all of
man.
that. Yeah. So yeah, that was another extra thing to add to the
He
the
did the
recruiting
Marine
part.
Corps stuff before the Marine Corps.
I know, right? So then after all that stuff, with the injuries that I was telling about earlier and all that, I got in my DD 214, and some of you may have this too, or hopefully you never get it, but I wanted to be in the SWAT team, and I did get my honorable discharge, but in the DD 214, it's got a code that doesn't let me re-enlist.
That's
So and
First time I hear this. Okay.
yeah, so it's because of my back and everything. Because even the doctor told me if you re-enlist again, because the chief warrant officer and all these they wanted me to re-enlist, and I said, well, my doctor says if I stay longer, I'm gonna end up in a wheelchair because the injuries that I have are not
Okay.
unless I get a surgery. But who wants to do a surgery on the freaking spine, right? Because it's less than 50. I don't know what the chances are, or maybe now or better to get better. But and then I ended up. It took a while to get back to school, especially being older now. That was tough. That was very tough going back to school, just because of I had to go through a lot of anger management, and I put myself through that because I knew I needed it. The transition period, a lot of counseling, a lot of this stuff, and I guess it was a mixture of not just the stuff in the Marine Corps because it wasn't that intense, I think, but because also like a mixture of my childhood growing up in a country that was in the Civil War for 12 years, and I lived 10 years of that, but that's how you grow up. You're like, oh, this is a world. This is how the world is. You go to the supermarket, there's dead bodies or bombs going off at night around your own house.
Yeah.
So there's curfew. Curfew means like if you get caught by the police right after 8 p.m., they shoot you.
Yeah.
They don't ask you questions. They just shoot you, right? So all these things, happening, and then I really needed help, and then I finally ended up with a bunch of Vietnam veterans, believe it or not, and I was the youngest one. They were really happy to take me in. They're like, hey, bro, I was like surprised because I was a little intimidated too because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the new guy, and I'm the youngest guy in this big group of old veterans talking about all this stuff. And then a lot of that just gave me the experience to be able to open up with people. Now when I've been seeking help for alcohol issues, like I do. I've told the guys, like I really needed to get help, and I had to stop drinking and trying to control myself better. So I've been given help with that, medications for this and that. But one thing that is very important, though, once I got out, it was important to find the right counselor because I went through a lot of counselors that I just walked out after because I'm like, these people don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Like they're not, like, and then there's people that are just, that they know something to help you fix yourself, to at least get you back on track again. So every so often I go and put myself through this. Like I need to talk to a counselor. It's very hard to admit that you have some issues because I never liked taking medications for years, even the Vicodin. I was like, I'm done taking this because I grew up watching my mom taking a lot of meds and all that for diabetes and all this stuff, but just a bunch of them. I'm like, I don't want to be that person ever. So then because I got that code in the DD-214, I tried to join the HPD, LAPD when I was in California, but the wait list was ridiculous, like 10 years or plus. So, anyways, I came here and they called me. I passed all the tests, polygraph and all the tests that HPD does, and then at the end they got me for smoking weed. And I was like, really? I was like, you know what? I know you guys can't tell me the truth because I think that you guys saw my code and the DD-214, or you looked at my VA, and I'm a liability to you guys.
Yep.
So I know you're not gonna tell
They're
me
not
that.
gonna say that shit.
They're not
They
gonna say that
can't.
shit.
They can't use
Right.
disabilities against you.
No, they can't. That's a big
Yeah.
lawsuit.
So they'll try to use something else. Yeah.
Right. They came up with, like, really? For smoking weed?
Yeah.
Like, okay, whatever. So that was disappointing, you know. So then I went back to U of H. I finished my school. I got my degree in hotel and restaurant management, right? Going back to,
Being a
I don't want
cook.
to be a cook.
The options of being a cook.
I ended up choosing
Why
that.
is this following me?
Yeah.
Ay, what does
I
this
just wanna-
mean?
You guys hungry?
Oh my god.
And then, that was really cool. So I was an operations coordinator for a startup company, and it was doing well. It's like a glorified Airbnb, and it was going great. From 8 hotels that we had, rooms, we went to 40 when I took over the operations, and I was only making $10 an hour. It was
What?
starting, after
They were
UH.
fisting you, bro.
No. I knew it's like the whole.
You
plan.
know, you knew you were getting. Okay.
I know, yeah. I mean, but as soon as I started putting my work into it, and it just clicked. Like,
Okay.
we had something going. So from 8 to 40 units in 4 months, and it was amazing. And then COVID happened, and I was already making 30 plus an hour by then.
Oh
in
wow.
those
Okay.
4
Okay.
months.
Okay.
So yeah. Of course that was a big thing in the plan, but I'm like, I had to, and I told the guy, I was like, I'll take those $10. Let me show you what I can do,
Yeah.
because I can talk to you like everybody else does. I don't like to do that. I'm gonna show you what I can do.
Mhm.
So we depended a lot on each other, and I think now he still has like 4 units now, even it's been a few years. But COVID happened, so it affected the hotel, the whole hospitality sector. So from 40 back to 8 in like 2 months, because no one was traveling. So then I got furloughed, and then I said, what do I do now?
Wow.
It's really hard for me. Do I want to go to a hotel and stay in the front desk for years and having people that don't know? I don't know. I just felt like bad, like in restaurants. I'm like, it's so stressful. I already have a hard time dealing with people and in crowds, And then the next thing was like, well, you know what? Why don't I just make the company and do the things I've always wanted to do with my dad that he didn't want to do.
Oh, okay.
So then it was easy for me to start my painting company, and now we do, special projects. We're a very small company, LLC, and we are very successful. We're small. We believe in quality versus quantity, but yeah, COVID was a really hard hit for us and everything. And my kid was in his school, so I do understand.
Is that how you guys met? Or you guys
Yeah,
met?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, who's this Ura guy? He had like
Mm.
5
Ura.
stickers and everything on the truck. I must meet this guy.
Okay. Okay.
And then, but it's a struggle. It's just, and it's just during, all this stuff from the school to starting the family and everything. Everybody goes through that, like now I'm taking meds and all that, to help, because I got to the point where I needed it. This is, after a long divorce, that was pretty bad, and other things, and now I just want to erase that. And I think that having you guys, because there's a difference between having civilian friends,
Oh, definitely.
right? It's just automatically you just click. But also there's also those veterans that might need a little guidance. Like if I would have met you guys back in the day, I don't think you would have wanted to hang out with me.
As a civilian?
No. No, when I was like 15 years ago.
Oh,
If I
freshly
would've- I
out.
would've been, fresh out.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think I couldn't. I don't know. It was just weird for me, to have friends, because I had a lot of
Anger.
grudge and anger and all these things that I didn't really understand. But
This anger came from the military, or was it combined with
It
the way your life was as a kid, the way the life was as a
Yeah.
teenager, and the way your life was throughout the military, and then everything just bundled up until you got out, and then you pretty much just like figure out a way to like manage it.
Yeah, well,
or
like I said, I really needed help. Yeah, but it's various things. You know, it's not just one thing.
okay?
Even now, when if I stop taking medication, I have just moments because, you know, from being alone. Alone is the worst
Yeah.
because the depression and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that's what all of us, man.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
but it gets
Especially when you go through divorces, dude. I mean, just
yeah,
think about
it
it.
is pretty
Yeah,
hard,
man.
man.
It's not easy.
I think we click pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, we did. I think so, but you know, like I'm married already, so.
Okay, my bad.
Wait, this is a different podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, but it's great because like I feel like you know when we
Uh-huh.
that camaraderie like
It never
it
leaves.
no
It
it
never
doesn't
leaves,
like
yeah.
I just feel so safe and so when I'm around you guys I just feel like everything's okay and of
Yeah.
course there's times that I'm like all right I just can't I can't do this but
Yeah.
I think I'm old enough and I know myself to where I'm like hey guys have a good night or you know we'll see you later because I got family too
Yeah.
you know they're looking out they're looking at with everything we do so but just remember there's really good people there don't judge going back again to the counselors you know there's really bad counselors but just from one or two or three shitty ones there are really good ones out there so just keep your head up and keep strong and like you know it's a roller coaster so
I think for the people that are in the service or people that are planning to join in the service, one of the things that we can learn from all this is that whenever you're in the service, you have to make sure that these guys keep your records safe and protected and not lose your records because when you get out and you want to claim disabilities, you want to go to the VA to ask for support, and if you don't have those records there, they're gonna think you don't have shit going on. And the reason why I can tell you this because they lost my medical records twice. Um, and I can tell you that whenever I got out, okay, show me medical records. Show me medical records. Only the boot camp records and maybe some while I was in this in the fleet. Maybe they'll find some of that. Anything that happened in Afghanistan, anything that happened in the time when they lost my shit was probably never gonna be found. Um, it's so important I think the generations that are going in, they're a little smarter, so they're all high tech and shit, so they're able to keep track of shit now. So keep track of your medical records, keep track of anything that has to do with your health, so whenever you get out, the VA doesn't have excuses not to help you. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help no matter how manly you think you are.
right
Most of us go through those challenges whenever you feel lonely, whenever you feel depression, whenever you're going through family uh, issues, whether it's a divorce, whether it's family not accepting you because you have changed. There's always help out there. Just don't be afraid, and don't feel like you're a pussy if you're asking for help, because sometimes when we explode, we don't know how we're gonna explode.
Yeah.
And when we explode, sometimes we can self-destruct ourselves. I mean, I mean, that's the worst case scenario. You know, if you're at the VA and you're not getting the proper help, and then you do something to yourself, that's the worst way to go down. And I think that's one of the things that I lacked on whenever I was getting out of the military, was that I was not prepared with the proper paperwork, with the proper paper trail to have that proper help. And that's why up to this date, I'm still fighting for my benefits. I deployed too. I went through shit too. I got knee problems, back problems, shoulder problems, neck problems, emotional problems, etc. Any kind of problem, it's there. And up to this date, I'm still fighting for benefits because I didn't have that evidence. So for those people that are listening out there, that this will be applied to you one day, pay attention to this, because this is gonna save you a lot of time and trouble. And that's what I have to say about that.
actually just to kind of jump on the bus too about the benefits now it if anybody that watches this has a question about a place, I finally got a place that actually is pretty promising because they come highly recommended from another friend, and it's I think one of the founders was a gunny.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's higher up now or what, but they get shit done. I've tried different places where they just take your money, they say about your Nexus letter, all this other stuff, and then you end up spending so much
Oh, you're talking
money.
about like for claims and stuff? Okay.
Yeah, and it's something new. I haven't talked to you about that later, but maybe,
Okay, okay.
but if anybody wants to know a phone number, I can give them the names, I can give them the phone number. If, they
Okay,
wanna
so
check
this is
out
what
your
I'm gonna do
Mhm.
whenever I put the information on the podcast on the channel. I'm gonna put your all you guys Instagram link so they can find you guys, follow you guys, and then if they have any questions, they can ask you guys about whether it's about your MOS, whether it's about the business,
Right,
whether
yeah.
it's about how did you overcame your challenges. They're gonna reach out for something,
Yeah.
they have a way to do it. So if it's okay, I can share that information
Yeah.
with the audience, and then they can follow you guys on Instagram. And yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
okay, cool,
that's a
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the negative stuff. I would like to ask, and yeah, that's life. That's the struggles that make us men, and we can't pretend they don't exist, right? But let's talk about the good things that came from overcoming these things, right? What are some good things that you have accomplished out of the service? Out of everything you've been through, you went through to be where you are today.
Well, not so much like these guys. I'm not
No, no.
doing no business stuff, right?
So
But
anything
right,
helps.
no,
Trust me. There's
but
somebody
what I'm
worse.
saying is, for me, it was character growth,
Okay.
right? So, coming in, I was young, um, meek, weak, and then while I was in, I really didn't do much while I was in. I kind of regret that now.
When you mean you didn't
While I
do
was
much.
active, I didn't do much. I was just so focused on doing work that I wasn't really taking care of my health. I wasn't
Okay.
looking for opportunities. I honestly, I barely did anything in Yuma, just because I realized after I got out, I'd never even gone to the Grand Canyon, and it was like 4.5 hours away
That
from
makes
us.
two of us, bro. I didn't do shit over
Yeah,
there.
I
I
never
went
did
to
anything while I
Walmart.
was in. Right, I never really did anything while I was in. But after I got out, and once I started thinking, I realized, that I was lacking in certain areas. And it especially helped after I got married, because I met my wife after I got out.
Okay, okay. There we go.
Right.
There we go.
So after I had my first kid, I had a couple moments where I actually like did some self-reflection. And from my time in, I got a lot of, the discipline, the work ethic, all of that stuff. But it helped, the hardening helped with character development for me. So, a lot of personal growth, and now putting in the effort to be, a better person.
About getting married, it's a good thing. It's not easy to do. So for a lot of people, it'll be a blessing. Okay, to be able to get married. Because think about it. In order for you to get married, you gotta have something going on for yourself for the girl to actually look your way.
Right.
So you know what? For you actually getting married, that means things were not as bad as.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying
So
they were
so
bad.
that's a good thing though. That's a good
Yeah,
that they
no.
came some finally out of all that struggle that you went through. Something good came out
No,
of
there
it.
was a lot of good for me because I had fun while I was in.
Okay.
Right, it was all fun and games for me. But it was all fun and games for me. After getting out, once I had my kids, I started thinking. I was like, you know what? Like, what do I need to do to be the type of person that these kids need me to be?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of set me down my path. I started listening to the stuff about stoicism and all this stuff, and I started thinking more about actual personal growth and developing myself as a person. So I got into actually exercising and just started actually one step at a time doing the things I need on my own, at least, to try to improve. And it's something I thought about a lot. But I got to a point where, I was with my kids, and I was like, if I stay inactive now, I don't do anything, I don't make any progress, 10 years will go by. I'll be 10 years more out of shape than I am now. And I'm talking about out of shape to where walking upstairs, I was out of breath. Right? So then I was like, in 10 years, when my boys are 9, 10, 11 years old, and I come to and I realize, I'm like, hey, you kids, you're not doing anything. You're not, taking care of yourselves. You're not playing. why aren't you doing this or that? They're like, well, Daddy, you've never done this or that. I've never seen you, leave the couch when you come home from work or something like that. And I was like, what do I do like in 10 years if I haven't done any of that? How are my children going to see me?
Yeah.
How can I demand they be better people if I myself am not willing to put in the work to be a better person? So then I started, thinking more about it, and I was talking to Callie. We started going to the gym together,
Okay.
and it started off just going to the gym every morning. And eventually, it started to get used to the hang of it. Started to read more and think more about these kind of things, and actually do some self-reflection on where are my shortcomings, where am I falling short, like what am I lacking, and how do I improve it?
It sounds like you've done a lot of growth, and be proud of that, because at least you're able to, I want to say, maybe compare yourself years ago versus now,
Yeah.
right? And you're able to, and it's a good reflection, because now if I asked you, what would you tell somebody that's going through those moments right now? What would you tell them to do so they don't go through what you went through, and they can be better positioned compared to how fast you had to catch up to get where you are today?
So the conclusion I came to is hardship is necessary, right? And what I mean is, you see people where you're like, oh, he's gonna make a really dumb mistake, regardless of what the mistake is. Somebody gets somebody pregnant young, something stupid that we do as a kid. You can tell them every day, don't do this, don't do that. But until they themselves experience it, there's no growth that comes from it. So I'm not saying, go do stupid things. But there's some, I guess the hardships of life is what makes us, the men we become.
Yeah.
No man of character is built in a comfortable room, right? It's the hardships that we go through that makes us the man of character. It's kind of why the Marine Corps standard is the Marine Corps standard, because we go through hell and back, right? So I think for growth, you have to be in an uncomfortable place. You have to be in a spot where you're like, hey, I don't like this and I don't want this anymore. And the only way to experience it, to grow from it, is to experience it. So going through our hardships and I guess becoming aware of it is the step, because there are people that experience hardship and they lay down and they give up.
And the good thing, just be proud of where you are today, because I know everybody has different stories here.
Yeah.
And and anything you've done to get better, I think you can tell yourself that, you know what, I'm doing a lot better now than where I was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, right? So I think at the end of the day, you're doing what you're supposed to get to the next level. So what can you do,
Can you give me one, bro?
Yeah, all you can do right now at this point is just keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing to get to the next level, the next level, the next level, and it's gonna become addictive.
Yeah.
It's gonna become addictive because okay, I want to do more. I want to do more. What do you do for work? I don't remember you discussing that.
Right now, I work for a company that sells and maintains medical equipment.
Okay.
It's not a bad job. It's just busy work.
Is it paying the bills?
It's paying the bills.
Okay, perfect.
Right,
Perfect.
so it does what I need it to do.
Okay.
My wife's able to stay at home and take care of the kids.
Okay.
Obviously I'm not living in luxury. Thanks. I'm obviously not living in luxury.
Where's your water, bro? Shit, here.
We're gonna share, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm taking care of my stuff.
Okay, man. That's good to hear, man, that you're doing okay and your family is happy with everything you're doing, and that's something some people need to hear, that it's never too late. It's never too late to change. I lost friends due to suicide because they went through these kind of troubles with family on their own.
Yeah.
And I just wish they would have heard someone talk about it. Maybe they would not pull the trigger if they would have heard something like this right on time. So I hope that if anybody's listening to this and they're in that situation, they can hear this and they can be like, you know what, I'm not the only one that's going through this. Maybe there's a way out. What about you, Kelly? What are some good things that have happened after you get out of the service that you can share and that the others can look up to as well?
Yeah, definitely. Just you know, having a, like I said, you guys are having somebody outside the military that's done the exact same thing is definitely a lot of a pro. And if I never went into the military and I try to face the same thing I tried to face doing my business right now, I don't think I'll be as successful as I was, you know. And like I said, just having the support with other veterans around me definitely helps. And I know I joke around a lot, like, hey, we need to hang out because I need it for my mental health. I was like, it's legit. Like, it definitely helps a lot. So just
Yeah.
having a good, so and not, I mean, yeah, me and him, we're in the same unit. I mean, and then you guys, we've never served or, I mean, we were in the same place at the same time, but we never met there, right? But then next thing you know, we click, and then, you meet them through me, and then you meet, and then now it's like our families are, we hang out together, the family hangs out together. So those are definitely some of the very big pros of joining the military, I think, for me.
Well, what are some good things would you like to share with the audience that happened after you get out of the military? Did you after the divorce, after coming back to your family, after working with your family in the business, did you find a special one? Were you able to, are
Oh,
you
yeah.
sharing your life with someone now?
Yeah, definitely. My wife, now we met when I was still in Yuma
Okay.
in Arizona, but I left, went back over here. We kind of stayed in touch, and then after a few years started dating. She ended up moving over here. And honestly, one of the biggest reason that our business is, up is, I remember at one of the months I was just like, man, it was so bad to the point to where, like, I'm like, man, I need, it's pay time, but I haven't gotten the tuition. The tuition hasn't hit the bank account, the kids, the families pay. And I'm like, I need to pay my employees or I'm not going to have employees. My wife, well, at this time we just got engaged. She literally gave me the money to pay my employees. And at the same time, I was working the business, but I wasn't making a single dime. I wasn't getting paid or
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Because I was like, why would I take a pay if I can't even pay my employees? So she, gave me the money to pay the employees, and then worked like overtime throughout the next few months to kind of help us stay afloat. So that's she's definitely a big blessing in my
She
life.
believed in you, you know that? She
She
believed
believed
in
in
you
me.
because she wouldn't have believed in you. She wouldn't have done it. She
Oh,
wouldn't have done it
heck
for
no,
you.
dude. Heck no. And like I said, we were, we just got engaged. She could have still been like, you know what? F this. Like, I'm out, son. Like, you put all your money in this business and now you're not even paying yourself. Like,
Yeah.
she could, but no, definitely. And then, yeah, I mean, we're doing very well. I repaid her back, but now she's stay-at-home mom. She gets to hang out with our kid, with our daughter, and we're expecting a second one. So
Oh, congratulations,
yeah,
man.
so definitely
The boy, huh?
yeah, I'm gonna get my boy.
Nice. We need to have some cigars,
So
man.
that's right.
Yep.
So yeah, man, that's a lot of positive going on. I'm growing up, growing the business. We have a second location opening up in San Antonio. So yeah,
Good things, right?
good things.
How's your mom doing?
Oh, she's doing a lot better. On top of all that,
Yeah.
This one gets
Mhm.
thrown too. My mom was diagnosed with cancer at the same time
Mhm.
that the business was just like starting to finally recover from the COVID stuff.
Okay.
The next thing you know, she gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and it's just like one thing after another, to the point where I started getting like bald spots. Like I was having like bald spots in my head, and when I went to the VA, they were like, "Yeah, that's because of stress."
Yeah.
So they were having to give me shots and stuff. But
Holy fuck.
but like what Davey was saying is like what makes us man is through the struggles that we have to face and we have to overcome.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like that's something like, man, looking back, like, holy crap, I did that. Like, I freaking did that because like I kid you not, like at like lunchtime, I would take like a quick 15-minute nap under my desk, just because, dude, I am so exhausted. I knew that I was like, this is the 15 minutes that I can get the whole day where nobody's gonna bother me. Take a quick nap. As soon as I get up, man, I had to basically run the whole thing by myself, like not by myself. Like I'm so glad that my brother came in and he helped me out because he definitely took a lot of the weight off the shoulder and kind of helped me kind of focus on something else to grow the business, and then as we started growing, I was able to take a step back and just manage and instead of being hands-on like with everything, because I felt like if I was just there doing like the hands like everything, we couldn't have grown the business.
Yeah.
It's definitely like I as much as I want to be like needs to be like this, like the way I want it, I had to take a step back and kind of, okay, well, this is what we need to do to grow it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow, man.
Other
Wow.
than that, yeah, everything's good. Like, I still know these guys, so, yeah.
Long way from personal training, huh? Long way.
Long way, man. Like, and that's where I met you,
Yeah.
right? I think we both started, like, 2 weeks apart from each other when
I'm not
we
sure, man. You were a red shirt and I was a black shirt, so I don't know how long you were there for, unless you got like 10 certifies when
No,
you
I got
there.
2 certificates while I
Okay.
was in the Marine Corps. That's why they gave me the
Okay.
red shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
She. All right, man. Okay, man. What about? Well, I want to
Best
hear
for
you.
last.
The best for
No,
last,
didn't
Alejandro.
say-
Come on,
did
man.
you say the old for last? It's okay.
Oh my God.
So same question.
So the question is, what's something good that happened after you got out of the military that you're pretty much proud of, and you feel good about that everything you went through, all the struggles, all the anger management, all the pain you went through, finally paid off when these things became into your life.
Yeah, I think one of the sayings that I still remember from one of my DIs, that I respected a lot. It's and I love this saying. It's hard work comes from hard work and pain, or success comes from hard work and pain. And I think that we're a definition of that. A lot of us, and then I mean, I know also civilians too that have been very inspirational to me, but it's just a different world, like now. So I think all the good and the bad, it's what you make of it. And yes, you can. It's easy to choose the wrong path. It's easy to freaking just bum it and like live a trashy life, like let yourself go. That's very easy. It's very hard to deal with life, either with support, with no support. It's just a constant battle. I think that it's good. It's good that you're not on your own, and to remember that. But I think from having I have 2 kids now. I got 3 kids. I have a 23-year-old that doesn't remember me, but he's coming back.
Does he live with you?
No, he's in California.
Okay.
So he was born while
Yes.
after the first year I
Mhm.
was already,
So he
shipped
stayed with
out,
his
so
mom the whole time?
it's been both, but he
Both.
doesn't remember a lot of it, when I was there. So anyway, that's
okay.
that would be another podcast on its own too.
Father's Day podcast. Got it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And then I'll shed a tear, but yeah, I mean, just everything. If you just gotta stay positive, like I know it's like, it sounds cliche. It's like, yeah, but once you do find it, I think you just it's like a big reward, like that you reflect, and it's important to reflect back on your life too. Like, man, I was like this, and I could have done this, I could have done that, and then you look back too at the friends you used to have sometime, like that never joined or anything. You're like,
Yeah.
man, I'm glad I joined, because I would have been worse than those guys, because my mind, all the crap that I was exposed to, and I ran away from home when I was, 15. So that's also another thing that's just a really rebellious kid, and I think now finding the right people to be around with, like you guys, and other ones that are not here, the, the I'm glad, that our spouses get along together well. Our kids are about the same age. We go out and have our fun. It's just amazing because I think that's one of the things that I wish that I have that a lot of the younger generations do have that we didn't have was like Facebook and all these things because Facebook had just started, I think, when I was in. So
You mean MySpace?
MySpace, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and I like that one better. But
It was much simpler to navigate. That's for
like
sure.
people could come in, you could have your music and whatever.
That's right.
Right.
The glitter thing.
Yeah, and my sisters were like, "Oh, you gotta get into this stuff," and I was like, um, you know, uh, where was I going with this? But I think that the difference between my generation, and I can't believe I'm saying it this way. I'm like, wow, I don't feel that old. I'm 43.
Say
Um,
it. Say it. I know you're gonna say it.
Yeah, technology has gotten a lot better. So like because before, you don't in the Marine Corps you don't call yourself you call yourself by your last name.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember people's first names,
Yeah.
and we didn't share any accounts because I wish I did. I met a lot of people that I'm like, man, this guy is like my brother from
Yeah.
another mother. Like sometimes I feel a lot of times about you guys too, and there's no way I try going to the military.com whatever and try to find people, but it's very hard. And maybe through this, maybe
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
that reminds me. So, but anyways, I think there's a lot more things to be positive if you're really looking into that world, and I hope you do find that that side. And it's not easy. It's not easy being a nice person, dealing with everybody else. It takes a really strong person to really deal with life.
I
and
think
do
you
something
became
about it.
a man, a responsible man. I think being married and
Oh, yeah, it does. It changes, yeah.
with your wife now and your kids.
Yeah, because you share your life. You got to be, not so selfish because, and the same thing with the counselors. If you find bad counselors or whatever, it's the same thing with marriage. A lot
Yeah.
of people give up on marriage because they had such a really bad relationship. But I can't be alone by myself. I'm really self-destructive, so I need somebody that is not like me, because, and that's what I found. It's somebody that's different from me in a good way, my everything. And now my kids, my friends, I love it, so.
Be proud of that because, like I told him, it's not easy to do that. It's not easy being married. It's not easy being a father. It's not easy being a good husband, a good father, a good friend, a good son. It's extremely challenging
It is.
because all it takes is a lot of things to go wrong for you
Yep.
to lose your way.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it could always
so
get worse.
and whether it's through medication, whether it's through family, whether it's through something that's helping you, not
Right.
making you worse, helping you get it done, then just be proud of that because there are other people that need to learn from that, and a lot of people are going through worse situations. So
Right.
believe me, a lot of veterans go through a lot of shit that, thankfully, we haven't hit rock bottom, and that we're here to discuss these topics.
Yeah.
But it could be worse. It could be worse. We could have been a couple of decisions from making the wrong decisions to be in those situations. Drug
Right.
addiction, making the wrong decisions where life could have been in danger. That somebody could killed us for whatever reason. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
And
And just the last thing, just
Mhm.
about living a good life. I think it's also important to not just to seek out help, because there's a lot of good programs out there actually, and for everybody too, young and old, veterans, Um, but I think that just if you're gonna take something positive from this, I guess for me, is if you have a partner, you love your partner, just make sure that there's a difference between certain things that you can share with your wife versus somebody that's a specialist and that can help you with this realm, because sometimes it could be a little bit too much. I don't really share a lot of the stuff with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
because I already have somebody that can take care of her. There's certain things, but it's like there's things that it was a job. You know, you remember that you went through all this shit and this and that. You saw some things, but it was a job. You signed up for it.
Yep.
Nobody put a gun to your head and everything. And if you went into the Marine Corps not knowing that it was gonna be fucking crazy,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know where your mind was. But I know it was crazier for other people than others. But again, get help. There's a lot of people that really want to help and went through worse things that I've been through in my whole life, possibly. Just different stories. You remember, and then maybe that's not a good way to put it. That they've been through worse, or it's like kind of war, right? Like, oh, Vietnam was worse than you know
World War
storm,
Two, World
II,
War
or
One.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different. It's different in its own way.
Yeah.
But all wars kill and everything, and just get help and find the right help. Love your family. Can I
Okay.
drop the mic?
And nah, you cannot. I want you. It'll be nice though. It'll be nice.
Get you a new one.
You know, it's good. It's good to have you guys talk about all this because everybody sees so many things in certain perspectives, and I just hope that whoever watches this can connect with all of us, somehow, some way. Um, one last thing before I wrap it up. I would like to know what motivated you. I know we were young when we made the decision. I know, but believe it or not, somebody's in that seat. Somebody's in that seat right now, and somebody's probably gonna hear this, and they're probably gonna relate to this. What made you join the Marine Corps? And when I ask this question, I want you to think about why I joined the Marine Corps. Not what just made me, but why did I join it, and what was I expecting from it?
So, kind of funny for me, because I was 20, 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
I was on my own since I was 18. Kind of just couch surfing, jumping from place to place. I just moved down to Florida from New York, right? Some people I knew in high school from Florida. So I was living in Florida. I was a face painter at Universal Studios.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was a face painter at Universal Studios making chump change, right? Barely enough to pay rent. Not much going for me at the time. Work was struggling. I had no way of getting any education, going to school. One day, I'm walking home with the girl I was living with at the time. And long story short, I get jumped by two Puerto Rican guys in Florida.
How do you know they were Puerto Rican?
Oh, it was-
Oh, whoa! It's a serious
Damn, that's a
question,
good
dude.
it's hard to explain, but when you live around them, you can tell who's who.
All right.
It's like, you're in a room full of Mexicans. It's the accent, culture.
How do you know they weren't Cuban? Like, que vola said.
I can't explain it in English, but the accents. It's
Oh,
kind of obvious.
el acento.
It's kind of obvious who's who.
Okay.
It's hard to explain. But long story short, these two guys, they decided they wanted to jump me, but I had a knife,
Okay.
and I won that fight, but it didn't feel like I won that fight.
Was it because of the knife? Was it feel?
I won because of the knife.
Because yeah, that's what I'm saying. Was
Yeah,
it because of
'cause
the
I
knife?
was-
You
I
feel like
was-
you had an advantage.
I was weak. I wasn't a very strong person.
But you were
130
also
pounds.
smart because you pulled it out and defended
Yeah,
yourself.
well,
Yeah.
it's a drawn out, hilarious story. The guys were dumb.
Uh-huh.
Nothing serious happened. I got put in a cell while they basically, one cop wanted to charge me for assault with a deadly weapon,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody else was like, well, self-defense.
Yeah.
It was 2 against 1.
Yeah.
So they let me go. I went home, but I didn't feel like a win. It's like I fought off 2 guys with, defending myself with a knife, but it didn't feel like I won a fight. It felt like I got my ass kicked and I got away, right?
Okay.
Despite the fact that I did more damage to them than they did to me, but
Mhm.
it wasn't a good feeling,
Okay.
and I was like, damn, I'm weak. I have no prospect career-wise going for me. I have no way of getting into school. It's either, struggle and possibly end up living under a bridge or find a way out. And then I remembered I had a buddy of mine that asked me before. He wanted to enlist in this thing called the Marine Corps. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
I just knew it was something to do with the military. He's like, well, it's the military. It's the hardest branch in the military. But they had this thing called the buddy program. And I'm sick of living here and life is not going great for me. But they do this buddy program. If I go, will you come with me? Is what he asked me. And I was like, I have no interest in joining the military. I don't really have much going for me now. But if you go, I'll go with you. I told him I'll go with him.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it in because of his health. He didn't get in. But then after that fight, I was like, I really have nothing going for me. There's I'm like 2 weeks away from living under a bridge, basically.
Wow.
No prospects, nothing. And then I remembered what he said. And I thought about it for like a month. I called the recruiter, right? So I looked up the recruiter. I looked up everything I could about the Marine Corps. I called the recruiter, and he's like, I'll pick you up tomorrow and take you in, and we'll look at that stuff. It happened to be on my birthday when he came. And then by the end of the year, I was going to boot camp.
How did you do it to survive? Because you say you had 2 weeks. How did you survive those 6 months
6 months? What do you mean?
before you got
Oh, it was just
shipped out?
By this point I was working at Steak and Shake.
Okay.
I was a little grill cook at Steak and Shake, and up until right before I left.
Were you still with the same girl you were with when you got into that fight?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was still when I left Florida, I was still with the same
Okay.
people. So I got into that fight. I want to say it was like in March. Then I thought about it, and come my birthday in May is when I talked to the recruiter. Because after all of my own research, then I talked to the recruiter in May, and then September of that year I was shipping out to boot camp. Told
Okay.
him I wanted to go as soon as possible. I don't have much going. It's only a matter of time before I'm homeless.
Okay.
So I wanted to go in as quickly as possible, like everybody else, and I didn't know any better.
To avoid homelessness, then that would be your incentive right there, your motivator.
What?
To avoid homelessness.
To avoid
Oh, yeah.
homelessness
Okay.
really was my driving force.
And
I wanted
that's a fair
0311,
a fair reason, you know.
I wanted a 311 like everybody else going
Yeah.
in, because I didn't know any better. My recruiter told me absolutely not.
Oh shit.
He's like, no, you scored good enough on the asphalt
Right.
where it's a waste.
But
Or-
okay, because you
Yeah.
were
I
smart.
scored good enough.
Yeah,
I
you-
wouldn't say smart, but I scored decent.
Let me tell you something. There was this motherfucker in the platoon who scored 99.999, and this motherfucker got kicked out of the Marine Corps for being stupid, for being an idiot, and he was tanks. He got a tank MOS.
What? 99 on the asphalt?
Yeah,
Damn.
he
I knew a guy who
got kicked out, bro.
I knew a guy who scored a 99 in my platoon in boot camp, and this guy couldn't put his own pants on.
Damn.
He's like, and this was like phase 3.
I guess you're like brain smart. It's different from common sense.
Yeah, third phase. This guy couldn't put his
Street
own pants
smart.
on.
Yeah.
When we got dressed in the morning, the 2 guys next to him had to dress him.
I'll take street smarts any
couldn't.
day.
But so I scored good enough where my recruiter was like, I wanted crash fire rescue,
Okay.
but I didn't have a driver's license
Okay.
because I was.
Well, I
You know,
think
on
these
the verge of
motherfuckers,
homelessness.
these
Yeah.
motherfuckers could have let you get it wherever you went. I mean, what the hell?
Now
Makes
thinking
no
back
fucking
at it,
sense.
But I was in such a rush to go because I
Okay.
needed to be, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I was in a rush to go that it wasn't even a thought. Thinking back, they definitely could have helped me get my
Yeah.
driver's license, but I was on the verge of homelessness. So I was like, whatever gets me there soonest. So it was either supply, crash fire rescue, or something. At the time, it was a combination of the LA gunner or air traffic control.
Okay.
It was one MOS and you got one or the other. I ended up going air traffic control route,
Okay.
but I wasn't smart enough for air traffic control.
Okay.
Failed out of that, but different story.
different
You
story,
did
different
well.
day.
You did well though overall.
Yeah, no, I
so.
did good.
Yeah.
Once they put me in the air wing after failing out, that was way easier.
I think once they put you at boot camp, you pretty much you were.
Oh, I was set.
Yeah.
Once I got it, what was it? When you get out of boot camp, we got 2 weeks
Uh-huh.
with the recruiter before
Mhm.
going to MCT.
Oh, 1
And
week. Oh, yeah, 2. Is
yeah,
it 2 weeks?
for us it was 2 weeks because it was right before Christmas. So
Oh,
we got
okay, nice.
So they gave us 2 weeks, and they're asking all the new Marines, how was it? How is it? How do they like it?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's complaining about something. This, that,
Yeah,
and
of
I'm
course.
like,
If you ain't bitching, you ain't happy.
yeah, they're all this and that. I'm like, I'm getting paid 600 every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I'm rolling in money right now.
Yeah, man.
I'm rolling in it. I don't have to.
That's how
pay
it was,
rent.
dude. That's how it was.
I don't have
Yeah.
to pay rent.
Yeah.
My
That's
phone
right.
bill was like
Mhm.
$100 a month.
You
and I'm
eat, you get food.
I get food.
Yeah.
I get a place to sleep, and I was making
Hell
like
yeah.
600 every 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
was like, I am living good. They're laughing. They're like 600. But to me, at the start, it was good because
Hell yeah.
what I had going otherwise was
Yeah.
not much else.
I don't have to pay rent for the Bears.
All right.
Yeah,
Just stay out of trouble. Just
Hey,
stay out of
600.
trouble, and
Hey,
you're
I
good.
felt the same way.
I was
dude.
a good cookie, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a good cookie.
I felt the same way. I was like, man, that's
It was money.
paycheck just hit the bank.
What about you, Serrano? What
Um,
motivated you? What made you do it? What made you make the decision to do something like that?
So I wanted I wanted to join, but I wanted to join after college. But I was thinking like I was gonna play football, but then my junior year I got hurt, and so I was like, well, it looks like my junior year. So I didn't get a lot of playing time my junior year and my senior year because I hurt my knee.
Oh shit.
So I was like, I didn't really want my parents to pay for my college because I got like 3 other siblings behind me, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna put them through that. And I was like, and I really don't want to go to school right now. So I had my buddy, he left a year before me, and he invited me one time. He was like, oh, you should join the Marine Corps. And I was like, oh, you know what? My uncle was a Navy SEAL, and I was like, no, I kind of want to be a Navy SEAL. And, because like my uncle was a Navy SEAL, I was like, I think that's badass. And he was like,
It is.
It is. I was like, man, it's badass. But the thing is, he was like, well, come to one of the workouts on Thursdays, the pulley workouts. I was like, yeah, I'll go, and And then the recruiter was like, I remember Sergeant Chambliss. Man, he was like, all right, get up on my pull-up bar. And he was like, I did like 3 and then kipped on the 4th one. He was like, you kipped, get off. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. And then we went, they took us on a little run, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like a struggle. Like, I can sprint all day, but I cannot do long runs.
Yeah.
Like, I can sprint. So after that, he was like, hey, man, I think this is going to be too hard for you, so I suggest you join. You either go next door and talk to the Navy recruiter and talk to the Army recruiter, but he was like, we don't want you. I mean, he's like, we don't think you'll make it. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then funny thing is, like, I went to the Army recruiter. I mean, the Army recruiter called me because I filled up one of those forms at school, and he asked me to stop by, and he was like, hey, man, like, look, this is what I did in the Army. He had like a whole like book, and he's like, look, this is me in Korea, like him in a hot tub in Korea, like chilling. He was like, yo, I was doing this, and I was like,
He was marinating.
I don't want that, like, F that. I was like, it sounds way too easy, So I like worked out, trained, and like I got up to like 5 pull-ups, and I went back, and he said, you really want to do this? And I said, yeah. And he was like, go to my office, and he let me put on his blues, right?
Oh no.
And he was
it
like, can you
didn't.
see yourself in this uniform? And I said, I will go to MEPS tomorrow.
It's the uniform. It was the uniform.
No, but then the fact that they were like, you're not going to be able to do this. And I was like,
Oh.
fuck that. I was like,
Okay.
now I want to do this,
You got suckered.
I got suckered. I was like, but hey, that was pretty good. But, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So you did it for the challenge.
I did it for the challenge.
You did it
I
because
really did.
because people were doubting you.
Yep. That's honestly one of the biggest things. And, it worked.
Okay.
He was a good recruiter, man. He knew where to get me.
Sold it.
He sold it. He sold it.
It's funny how you knew your body. You knew your body. How about you?
About
Okay,
made
so,
you
so,
join?
so
Oh, what
the
made me
question
join?
was, what made you
Mhm.
join? What motivated you? What made you make the decision that you needed this kind of change in your life, like by
Yeah.
joining the Marines?
Yeah, I touched a little bit on it before I derailed. So I did mention that it was the discipline that I really needed, the discipline, because I knew that I needed a challenge, like a real challenge. And that kind of pushed me towards, yeah, I got to find the right branch. I only knew a little bit. I tried doing research because, research was not getting into Google back in the day. You actually had to ask people and believe what they told you, or the recruiters, depending on what they're trying to sell you. So I was like, all right, I don't want to do the Coast Guard. I didn't know too much about the Navy either, but I'm like, water, being out there, I don't know. And, Air Force, I'm like, oh, I have to be a score high. I'm like, I know I'm not probably going to get that. So I kind of had some, I had the process of elimination, at least on the other branches. So when I went to the recruiting office, there was the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. So I just picked a side. Like I could have went to the Marines, but I ended up going over here first, and it was the Army. And then I went in there, and the guys like, they were real assholes with me. For some reason, they were really assholes.
What kind of assholes were
Well,
they?
the guy, because I was very skinny. I was like 130 pounds, and she's like, you think you're ready to? And there was a bunch of them, like
Yeah.
just laughing and everything. I guess they didn't really need bodies at the time. I don't know. It was after 9/11, so.
I'm
but,
surprised they didn't.
I know, right? No, it didn't seem like they really wanted to.
Intimidate you.
No, they just wanted to intimidate. I guess
Okay.
they're just joking around. I guess, but he's like, we don't think you're all you could be right now. Are you sure you want to join the Army? And this, yeah, I was like,
well, I can always join the Marines. You know that, right?
yeah, no. And then I'm looking at myself. I was like, and then of course these guys with the uniform and everything, they look, tougher, bigger. And I
Always
was like,
hiding behind the camo, huh?
yeah, maybe, So I was like, man, yeah, I don't think I'm all I can be, or I'm ready for that. So I was like, all right. So I left.
Were you being sarcastic or you
No.
were serious?
No,
okay.
they were serious.
No, I'm talking
And
about
in
you.
Myself, I was serious.
You were
too.
serious too. Okay.
I was like, well, I was hoping that they can help me and guide me the
Oh,
right
shit.
direction. So I kind of left. They gave me the book and said, like, think about it, read it. So I left, and I was like, I'm already here because it took me a long time to get here with the buses and everything that I
Yeah.
barely had enough money.
Yeah, public bus.
Public transportation, yeah. So, and then I went to the Navy right away, and yeah, they were a little assholes to me too. I didn't like the vibe, and I don't know why I was thinking I'm gonna be with these guys for the rest of the time, but I didn't think about that. And then they started telling me about being in the ocean and this and that, and I was like, yeah, I don't think this is.
They
for
would
me.
have put you
Okay,
in the goddamn submarine. I promise you, they would have put you
Pro-
there. Those are the vibes I'm getting.
Yeah, maybe. But
Submarine life sucks, dude.
I couldn't-
Dude, I hear
couldn't see
stories,
myself.
dude. Ooh.
Right. So then I go to the Marine Corps one, and as soon as I come in, they're like, "Oh, hi, welcome. Sit
You
down.
want some
You want
coffee?
some water? Yeah, yeah.
You
We have this. You want to see
You
what
would
we
expect that
do?
from the other branches.
Right. Yeah. But and the guy looks freaking sharp. He's freaking buff too. I was like, man, okay, so yeah, that's definitely I can see the difference. And then they're like, you want to see what we do? Here, sit right here. We're gonna play a video for you. And they're playing.
The few, the
Oh,
proud,
dude,
the
I was like,
Marines.
and he's like, you think you could do that?
Simplify.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, yeah. I was like, all right. And he's like, you get paid, you'll be able to
Get
better
food, you get
clothes, this and that,
travel,
all
you
that
know.
stuff, and it didn't take long because I grew up poor.
Yeah.
I don't really have, I told you I ran away.
That's
when
how
I was
they get you.
15.
Yeah.
And then exactly. So I was in dead end jobs. I wasn't really going anywhere. And when I go to school, I was just anyway. So and my son was a few months old. So I was like, I definitely need healthcare for him, and I need to help him out, and this and that. So those were the motivations for me to join the Corps. you know. But that's the funny part of it, that I thought it was silly, you know. that
I'm
I
pretty
was
sure
like,
a
and
lot of
then
people
once-
can relate to that, bro.
Oh,
Don't,
yeah,
don't be
once-
surprised.
yeah,
Yeah.
once you're on those footsteps, you're just like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? And it doesn't stop for those.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't.
So you
pretty
so,
much.
so you're pretty much you were fine. You went to them. They didn't came to you.
They
There was no buddy
did at school.
program.
Yeah, there was a no.
No. That,
There was random people at high school, but I couldn't because I didn't have a green card.
okay.
And when I finally got my green card, I'm like, okay, I've already talked to these guys, but I wanted to feel them and like get, you know, booklets. And
Yeah.
like I said, you couldn't Google stuff before when, you know,
Oh.
I don't know if you guys were able to, but you just went on by commercials and booklets and whatever. So, but yeah, I've never regretted. If I could do it again, I'll do it again. And it's just one of those things that you just, it'll always.
But I think you were smart about it. I'm gonna be honest with you, because somebody, I mean, at that age, well, how old were you?
How old I was?
You were 20, 21?
I was 20 because it took me no, I was 21. It took me a year to stop smoking pot.
Okay.
And then I had to get my green card, and then
For somebody at 2021, that was a pretty smart reason to join. You said healthcare for your kid.
Yeah.
Most kids at that age, they wouldn't have thought about that.
yeah,
I'll be
but
honest with you.
there was the other part too that I'm like, okay, I'm in the U.S. I was like, if I'm gonna be in this country, why am I not gonna serve the
Yeah.
country? You know.
Did
And actually, I got my residency. I was able to join in. Just to end the story about that part is, I was in Japan, and you know, you pay money and whatever, and then I was able to get my citizenship through the Marine Corps.
And I was gonna ask you that. Did you know before joining the military that you
That I
could be
could
a
do that? No.
no? You
I
see,
didn't either.
I didn't either.
yeah.
I
No.
didn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know either until it doesn't apply to me because I was already a citizen, but I know people that
Yeah.
got it while they were there, and I had no idea that was possible.
Oh, the
Yeah.
ceremony. If you guys get to go to the ceremony, that's
Yeah.
great. Like, because you do go to your
In
uniform.
your uniform.
And I almost didn't pass the test. They ask you all these questions
Oh,
to get your
shit.
sis. I'm like, my aunt, you know, she barely speaks
They still
English.
test you? What the fuck?
Dude, they didn't even
Yeah.
test me.
Oh, they test me.
They didn't test me.
Yeah.
Man,
I got my citizenship 3 weeks before we left for deployment.
Oh, no.
'Cause Yeah, the S6, the secret squirrel guys
Mm.
called me up and they were like, "Hey, you're just a green card?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, that's hard." And then she was like, "Well, you can't deploy if you're not a citizen because they don't want you dying out there.
Yeah.
You not being a citizen."
but
So-
people did deploy though, because when they went, a lot of people
I
that
think
went to
they-
Afghanistan, they got their citizenship in
After?
country. Yeah.
Well, I think they changed that.
Okay.
So she literally told me, dude, it took
But that
me,
was before though.
it took
Okay.
me 2 weeks to get my citizenship. And like you said, the ceremony was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
They told me to go to this spot, to this place on base, take a picture,
Okay.
and then they sent me to Phoenix, to the capital to do my interview. But I don't know how they made you answer questions. The guy literally just asked me, he's like, "Oh, you're in the Marine Corps?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Oh, you what? Are you getting ready to deploy?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He looked at my paperwork and just started stamping away. And
Okay.
he was like, "Next Friday, show up to the courthouse. Make sure you wear your blues."
Okay.
And then they swore me in at the blue, and I had to do a little speech in front of all these people, man. It was pretty cool. I loved it. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
No, and I one more answer that I would have gotten wrong.
What was the question you get wrong, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it was
How many stars?
how many no, I took a history class at least, you know. No, but they ask you those, and then one of the questions that I didn't get right, I forget which one it was because I didn't know it, so I forgot. It's been
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah. But the one I did remember that I
You know you got wrong for sure.
know that I guessed, and I
Oh,
guessed
you
it
guessed?
right. The
You-
last one, because she even said,
Mm.
if you get this one wrong, I can't give you a citizenship. I'm like,
What
I was,
dick.
yeah. And I told a lady, I was like, look, ma'am, they approved me I came from Japan,
Mhm.
and I'm already active duty, and I'm here on leave just to get my citizenship. And what am I going to go back and say, hey, Gunny,
I didn't pass my
I
test.
didn't pass my test? Like, really? Like, but my aunts that hardly speak English, they
They
all
got
have
it.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're
citizenship.
smarter than you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, I
They
guess.
joined the Marine Corps.
But you know, so the last question, I was like, can you like pick easier ones than those. I mean, those are really hard
Yeah.
questions. And then she's like, okay, how many senators per state?
Oh,
I was
I
like-
don't even know,
I
dude.
know, I was right.
I think
It's two.
Yeah.
Is it two? I just made
Yeah.
that up.
So I was
Probably.
like, I was like, I
Sounds
just,
right.
dude. When you're young and you've been doing a lot of pot, I don't think that that's in your mind a lot. Like how many senators? I said, and I said two.
Oh, it is two.
I love history now. I hated history before, and I said two. And she's like, okay, good, congratulations. You know. She didn't even look at me in the eye when she said congratulations. And I had my chart. I think I was right. My chart.
No respect, dude.
Yeah, she must.
Yeah,
you know.
man. Can I ask what
Ethnicity she was?
uh-huh.
Like my wife, Caucasian.
Damn, dude.
But you know, it was different times, and I don't know. It could have been that. It could not. I don't know.
She should have been like father of Marine Corps aviation.
She could have said, you know, asked me questions about Chesty Puller and you know.
First female Marine.
Oh shit! I would have.
See, you would have been like,
Uh,
oh man.
All right. I'll
Your
go
first
back to my
general
time.
order.
First general order.
What's your 13th general order?
But you did it, bro. You did it.
Hey, you
You
know.
did it, and I bet you were really proud of that
Oh,
moment
it
too.
was great. The ceremony
Yep.
for me, I didn't even know that there was a lot of people getting their citizenship, and all the civilians they had a little
The
flag.
little
with it,
flag, yeah.
But we were in the front, and they gave us it was like almost like a little frame thing, and I still have.
What?
And yeah, and it was I was the only Marine, and there was 2 Army guys and 2 Navy guys. Of course, I'm wearing my dress blue.
Uh-huh.
When we come out, they interview me. The news interview me,
Yeah.
and then they try to interview my mom. Like, how do you feel about your son? And my mom's like, she gets super shy. She's like, I'm very happy, and that's all she said. I was
That's
like,
all she needed
and-
to say.
Yeah, and then when we came out, it was like, I shit you not, and I don't know. You could look this up now, or whatever. I don't know if they still do it this way, but it was literally a red carpet,
Oh shit.
and we came out,
Yeah.
and then everybody was like, yeah, and then there was a few of us, right?
Get some.
Well, there was some pretty. I was looking at the women too. You know, so and then some people were like, "This is for you," like
Oh really?
Yeah, like the signs or whatever. Like it was just so
What?
like a dream.
That's
I'm like,
crazy,
wow,
yeah.
that is amazing. So, but one question away from getting that, like it could have been worse.
It's amazing how like two Marines, different experiences on getting the citizenship.
Right.
Fucking crazy, huh?
Yeah.
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 So
Here we are.
so now when somebody tells you a story like that, you might want to believe him because and then he's like, one question,
Oh,
one
that'd be
yeah,
good.
just please get it
Yeah.
wrong,
I'm
please.
like,
Oh.
you're not,
Uh-huh.
I even asked like, you're not gonna ask me any questions. I'm like, I'm trying to earn my citizenship.
Well, he is right.
Yeah. Well, you did.
Like, I studied for this shit.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it.
No,
you
that
know?
was, yeah.
Like with my cousins, because they'll ask me like, "Hey, what's the best way to, like, to go over there?" This was in the '90s, coming from, El Salvador, and I was like, "Well, if you make it over here, do the same thing I did: get your residency, get your shit squared away, and then join the military,
Yeah.
serve this country, And I mean, and it's different. The point of view that I think that, I think, an immigrant has towards serving the country. And I see even in movies too, where they're like, and they interview the immigrant guys. They're always like, I'm very happy, to serve the country because it's just given me more than my native country did.
Mhm.
And it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
true.
very true
That's
because
very-
like
yeah.
there was, like even my mom would say, "Oh, don't forget where you come from." I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean, like a country that freaking?
I won't forget, Mom. Trust me, I won't
Yeah,
forget.
You weren't even there. You left because it was really bad.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, happy ending. So here we are, and I'm sure that you have an interesting story too about your, because you got your
You should do a topic.
citizenship,
You
right?
should do a topic on that.
Mhm.
No. I was okay. So my story was that I was born here, and my mom sent
thought you were
me to El Salvador when I was 4.
I thought you were
Oh.
Caucasian
No.
when I first met you.
Oh.
So he said Velasquez. I was like,
Oh, okay. No. I was born here and I was sent when I was 4, and then I came back and I had to learn English, and the language was a challenge. But when Yeah. Before we wrap it up, I just want to say thank you guys for sharing your stories, sharing your experiences, and sharing information that will help other veterans and other people that decide to join the military in things to and what things they can expect in their journey. Whether and I, where's your family from?
Dominican Republic.
Philippines.
Yours, Salvador. Mine, El Salvador. So we all know by now that most of the people that are in the military they're Hispanics. It's a big percentage of the military population that is Hispanic. So at the end of the day, we are the backbone of the military, whether some people want to believe it or not. And it's good to hear that we have good people from other countries serving the country, and that can give a good reputation to this country, you know. And I hope that continues to go on. I think it will, because I think we're gonna be the highest percentage in the military for a while. I don't see that dropping anytime soon. But thank you for coming, guys. Thank you for sharing. If there's anything you would like to share before we wrap it up, now's the time. But other than that, I'm grateful for your time, grateful for everything you guys shared today, and I can't wait to have you guys on again for other topics. I think we're gonna be able to talk about any more fun topics in the future.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep the podcast running for another 5 hours, so that's why I didn't speak more a lot about me. I do have a lot I would like to share, and I think I will share it with time when some things trigger with other topics we discuss in the future. But if I share my story, we'll fall asleep, because it's a lot of information, a lot of struggles, a lot of challenges, a lot of doubts that people pretty much had about me. I had a stepfather. I didn't have a father. I was from El Salvador. I lived a hard life over there too. So you can just imagine how I can put all those pieces together to make it make sense where I am and who I am, the man I am today. So,
Yep.
but thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you too.
Yep.